start. Right now. Good evening. I would like to call this May 28, 2025 meeting of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Lloyd,
Present.
Commissioner Winfrey,
Here.
Commissioner Getzinger,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Avery,
Here.
Commissioner Shoemaker,
Present.
Commissioner Cousineau,
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill,
Here.
Commissioner Flewelling.
Present.
All right. At this time, I'm going to call upon Commissioner James Avery for our invocation. Followed by the invocation, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance.
Shall we pray? Gracious Father, we first of all thank you for this day. Thank you, Lord, for your traveling grace, allowing us to make it here safely. We thank you, Lord, for our community and our guests that we have here today. That, Lord, you will have a spirit of civility and unity and uplifting one another. We pray that this will go throughout our county for the days to come. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda tonight, we have our meeting minutes from our previous meeting. What is your pleasure?
So move.
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Winfrey, supported by Commissioner Wayhill. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, motion passes. Now we come to our public speaking, our public address portion of our meeting. As we entered into this public comment portion of today's meeting, I want to remind everyone of the standards we uphold here and this Genesee County Commission chambers. Each person wishing to speak will be allowed up to 2 minutes. Please begin your remarks by clearly stating your name and the municipality in which you reside, whether that is a city, township, or village within Genesee County. I want you to know that this board believes in open dialogue and welcomes differing viewpoints. However, all commentary tonight must remain respectful and focus on the issues at hand, not individuals, not personal attacks, insults, or name-calling. When you come to the mic, if you wish to speak, if you'll line up to our right, and I just ask that you speak clearly for the record and those that are watching online, that we refrain from interrupting any of our speakers tonight, even if we have differing viewpoints, that we will also avoid outbursts and interruptions or reactions, but that we will also respect every speaker's right to be heard without disruption, whether or not we agree with their position or not. With that said, at this time, okay. And Mr. Freeman just notified me we're having some technical difficulties with the screens, so you may see them blinking in and out, but we'll get those up running smoothly as soon as we can. All right? At this time, our first speaker, if you'll come to the mic, and again, give us your name and your municipality of residency.
Hello, my name is Heidi Farmer, and I live in Flint Township. The reason I've come today is to ask you to reconsider naming June Pride Month. And as an American with a disability, I've always appreciated the Pride festivities for the spirit of inclusivity and their welcoming of the entire community. At a time when we're being divided by our demographics, we desperately need these community celebrations of acceptance, not division. Every Pride event that I've ever been to has been full of creative, artistic, compassionate individuals who've gone out of their way to make me and everyone else feel important and included. It's especially important now that we recognize each other's worth and reach across those division lines to draw our community closer together instead of reverting to the us or them rhetoric of the past. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Megan Ropetta. My pronouns are she, they. I am a resident of Flushing Township, District 8. I am a community lead in 5051 Michigan and a queer parent working and raising my family here in Genesee County. Tonight, I have joined you all with my children in tow, a short 4 days away from Pride Month, not simply to encourage you to vote on adding Pride Month resolution to the upcoming committee agenda, but to remind us all of the importance of loudly recognizing, acknowledging, and celebrating the lives of all LGBTQ humans who are still here with us and those who stood up, came out, and fought before us. The phrase coming out of the closet is one whose roots run deep through a foundation of hate, stigma, fear, and shame in the queer community. While we live in a time where parts of our country are growing safer and more welcoming for LGBTQ plus community, there are more places where misinformation, hate, violence run rampant, preventing countless queer and trans humans from coming out and living healthy, loving, authentic lives. I urge you today to look at those of us standing in this room, to recognize our existence and allow the committee a chance to consider moving the Pride Month resolution forward, allowing us the chance to continue to celebrate our existence as we have the past 3 years under resolutions like this, as well as continue to foster hope, safety, and love for the community who cannot stand here with us. We can do better than ignoring our trans and queer neighbors here in Genesee County. We have always existed, we will continue to exist, and our celebrations should be protected and encouraged. For the sake of our LGBTQ community, both kids and elders and everyone in between. Providing celebration for one group does not take from any other. Thank you guys. I love all of you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Sheree Masali, Linden, Michigan. I'm here to object strongly about putting forth the resolution that was already decided in the committee 2-2. I feel that if it did not pass in the committee, that it should just be done and over with. I'll remind you that back in 2021, the board voted to stop flying the pride flag. My thing is that in 1998, Congress acknowledged 5 weeks of National Family Month from Mother's Day to Father's Day. So that would highlight all families to be recognized. That includes single, mixed, same-sex parents. Celebrating and strengthening our families of Genesee County is what I'm looking at. I don't feel that one group should be slighted over another. That sounds a lot like diversity, equity, and inclusion, but actually it's, if you can't be inclusive, then you're being exclusive to other groups. There are Baptists, Christians, atheists, there's adoptive parents, there's churches that provide food for our communities. Do they get recognized for a whole month? How about any of those groups? Do you recognize any of those groups that celebrate families in our community? Diaper drives? Do you do resolutions for a whole month for those groups? I feel that just if you're singling out one group, which should be inclusive to all people, and it should not just be just a 1 month for this, a 1 month for that. You should just include everyone in Genesee County in the families and have their values acknowledged, if anything. I just support that a vote tonight should not be put on the agenda. I feel that if it didn't pass in the committee, then why even have a committee? So that's how I feel. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the remaining speakers to come to the podium to my left and your right. That mic sits up a little higher, and maybe we can get a little more volume.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Popovich. I am a resident of downtown Flint, and I co-parent 2 beautiful non-binary children with a trans partner. They live down in Grand Blanc. I'm here to express tonight my disappointment with the failure to adopt the resolution as written by Dale Wayhill declaring June as Pride Month in Genesee County. Flint is known the world around for building cars. That's what made us famous. And now that that work has slowed, what the most important thing we can be doing now is building community and building one another up. And by not acknowledging June as Pride Month here in Genesee County, that continues to tear our community asunder rather than lifting all boats by a rising tide. Our county and cities within could not be what they are without contributions and commitment of our LGBTQIA+ community. And everyone deserves to feel safe, supported, and celebrated in Genesee County. Our cars were once the model, the template, and the envy of the nation and the world around. I would propose to you that we build community in the same way and make that community the template, the model, and the envy of the world around here in Genesee County. We can and should build community in that same manner, starting by adopting the resolution as written by Mr. Wayhill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Art Reyes. I'm a resident of Grand Blanc Township. This is not controversial. This is needlessly being held because the committee did not have a full roster. A 2-2 vote on a committee of 5 should not happen. I implore you to vote to reconsider the resolution as written by Dale Wayhill. This is something that Genesee County has celebrated over several years. In the last few years, Dale has been the one who has authored the resolution. The resolution as written is outstanding. It acknowledges the LGBTQ+ community as it should be. This isn't about tolerance. This isn't that we're allowing something to happen. This is going to happen worldwide. This is about Genesee County showing that we have the hearts that we do, that we include everyone. It's not about tolerating somebody else. It's about including everyone. And this resolution, as written, should be reconsidered and should be passed, because Genesee County should take a role in leadership in making sure that every member of our community feels as though they are welcome, that they belong, and they are honored. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Teresa Hammond Cross, resident of Davison Township, and I'm also a member of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Flint. I remember when our church held monthly vigils in front of the county courthouse and it's in support of marriage equality, a long time, through all kinds of weather. That moment for full marriage equality finally arrived on June 26, 2015, when in 5-4 decision it became the law of the land, granting same-sex couples in all 50 states the rights to equal recognition under the law. Yay. And of course, we threw a party and had 2 weddings. Pride Month celebrates how far we've come, recognizes there's still work to be done, and not to take hard-won rights for granted. Making the world safer for vulnerable populations makes the world safer for all of us. I ask you to recognize this month as a time to come together, to host conversations, and celebrate in peace, love, and understanding. Diversity is our strength. Let it be so. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, my name is Sandra Murphy. I prefer the pronoun she, her, and I live in Flushing Township. I'm here this evening as an ally to the LGBTQ+ community and to voice my support for the June Pride Month celebration resolution. In the past, I understand that this body has unanimously supported a resolution for Jewish Heritage Month, has supported in the past an Arab American Heritage Month, and last Wednesday, when I was here after defeating the June Pride Month resolution, the committee passed unanimously a resolution in support of Juneteenth. I want to take this opportunity to remind you that the voters that sent you here to lead. And while not everyone voted for you, your job now is to represent everyone in your district. There are members of the LGBTQ+ community throughout Genesee County. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So I'm asking you to lead with them in mind. Leading means understanding what is best for the greater good, understanding that the voices, God, I'm getting emotional, that the loudest may not be the majority. So I'll close by saying that June, as Pride Month, provides an opportunity to celebrate love, celebrate life, and honor the courage it takes to live authentically. And I would appreciate a roll call vote on the resolution when it comes up. Thank you.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. All right, good evening, commissioners. My name is Amanda Edwards, and I'm from Vienna Township, a resident born and raised. I am a proud ally of the LGBTQ+ community, and I'm speaking today in strong support of the resolution to recognize June 2025 as Pride Month in Genesee County. The resolution is more than a symbolic gesture. It is an affirmation that every person in our community deserves dignity, safety, and recognition. It aligns with our nation's founding principles that all people are created equal with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These aren't abstract ideals. They are promises we should strive to make real for every resident, including our LGBTQ+ neighbors, friends, family. I have close friends in the queer community, and I've seen both their contributions and their challenges that they face. To acknowledge Pride Month is to say we see you, we value you, and we are committed to protecting your rights, just as our Constitution, our local policies, and our shared humanity demand. Pride Month is celebrated around the world, but it starts at the local level with decisions like this one. By passing this resolution, Genesee County can show that we are a place of inclusion, respect, and community pride, not just in name, but in practice. I urge you to pass this resolution and send a clear message that Genesee County stands for equality and belonging for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Stephen Barber. I'm a resident of the city of Flint. I'm here to respectfully urge you to support a reconsideration to the resolution recognizing June as Pride Month in Genesee County. Across the country, local governments are acknowledging the contributions and struggles of the LGBTQ+ community by recognizing Pride Month each June. This action would send a message that Genesee County is a place where all residents, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or background, are valued, respected, and welcomed. This recognition is not about promoting any particular religious, political, or ideological belief. It is a secular civic acknowledgement of the importance of equity, dignity, and human rights for all people. Just as we celebrate and honor various groups that have historically faced marginalization, recognizing Pride Month ensures that LGBTQ residents feel seen, supported, and included in the fabric of our county. By passing this resolution, Genesee County would join other communities across Michigan and the nation, as well as throughout the world, in affirming that principle that diversity strengthens us. It would show our shared commitment to fairness and inclusion, values that transcend individual belief systems and unite us as a community. I ask you to vote in favor of officially recognizing June as Pride Month and to stand with your LGBTQ constituents and neighbors in affirming that Genesee County is a place for everyone. Thank you for your time, leadership, and consideration.
Hello, my name is Allison Phelps, and I am a transplanted resident of Genesee County from Fenton Township. I was born and raised in Bay City and moved here after college for work. Though I no longer work in the county, I have chosen to continue living here, due in large part to the people. Imagine my surprise when I was told the Genesee County Board of Commissioners were unable to pass the resolution acknowledging June 2025 as Pride Month in Genesee County. I went to the board's official website where I read the following sentence. Together, we are building an inclusive, collaborative culture for the benefit of all residents of Genesee County. The words together, inclusive, collaborative, and all residents struck out to me first. According to the board's own site, they want everyone to be able to come together at the decision-making table to make life better in Genesee County. It doesn't list exceptions. It says all residents. The other part that stuck out to me was the word benefit. I don't think anyone would argue that this resolution is for the benefit of the LGBTQ+ community. I remember what it was like to be a middle school student listening to adults on TV debate the legality and morality of gay marriage, which, by the way, the right to marry and have a family is explicitly stated in Articles 2 and Article 16 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted in 1948. These debates made me feel isolated and alienated on top of the challenges already associated with being in middle school. Seeing a message of support like this resolution when I was growing up would have meant the world to me, and honestly, it still does, and I know that's true for many in the Genesee County LGBTQ+ community too. No one benefits from this resolution's defeat. No one gains anything. No one loses anything from this resolution's success. In fact, I would go so far as to say that not passing it has caused harm. We have spent time, energy, and money just to have all these people come to this meeting right now. This should have been an obvious, quick, and easy affirmative vote to pass the resolution, because together we are building an inclusive, collaborative culture for the benefit of all residents of Genesee County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jude Kraniak, and I have been an out and proud transgender resident of District 1 for 7 years. I'm asking the commission to reconsider the no vote from last week and to add the Pride Month resolution to the agenda. I'd like to read you a section from the homepage of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners website. Quote, Genesee County is governed by the Board of Commissioners, a dedicated group of publicly elected citizens representing the residents of 9 county districts. This structure allows for accountability and transparency, empowering residents to have a direct connection to their representatives and to have a say in the decisions that matter most in our communities. I'm not here today to ask you to change your individual beliefs or to beg you to recognize my humanity. I'm here today to remind you of your role as our elected representation. LGBTQ+ people are part of this community, no matter how anyone feels about that, which means you are required to represent our interests too. What we are asking for today requires no cost to taxpayers and no money to come out of your pockets. What we have asked for is a gesture to simply acknowledge the reality that we're all living in, that queer people exist everywhere, including our communities here. If you cannot meet this request from your queer constituents, it won't go unnoticed. Clearly, it hasn't so far. I want to thank my fellow LGBTQ community members and allies for showing up today and speaking out. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Paul Jordan, and I live in Flint. I'm here to urge you to adopt the resolution proclaiming June to be LGBTQ+ month in the county. I'm also here to thank Mr. Shoemaker for explaining his vote against the resolution in committee. I think that demonstrated a great deal of respect for his constituents. When I read the phrase in the resolution, many of them struck me, but one in particular. The county's LGBTQ+ residents and visitors are part of the human family with the same fundamental rights to equal treatment and equal protection as others. Hard to argue with that. As I read that, a phrase from the book of Matthew came to me. Well, several phrases. Jesus is describing the judgment of humanity by the Son of Man, Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. And I can't help thinking that if Jesus was here in the flesh today, he might add, I was gay, and you respected me. Now, goes on, of course, to say, Lord, when did you see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and gave you drink?
If you'll wrap up, please, we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
comments. Thank you so much.
God is perhaps bigger than some people suspect.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Elizabeth Jordan. I'm a resident of Flint, and I'm speaking as a resident tonight. Growing up, my grandma had a tapestry in her study that said, God does not make junk. She was a social worker and often saw clients in that room. As a kid, that message didn't really mean anything to me, but now as an adult, I can see why she hung it. I imagine many of the people who came to my grandma for support struggled with self-acceptance. Plenty of people may struggle with this for a variety of reasons. Yet when society sends messages to whole groups of people that they're less than, it often does make it harder for people to find that self-acceptance. And unfortunately, in our society, people have often received those messages as being left less than on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender identity. And so taking note of that and recognizing the value of everyone's self-acceptance makes this idea tonight very important. One of the false ideas that I worked to jettison as a racial healing practitioner is that there's this notion of a hierarchy of human value, the idea that some groups of people matter more or are more deserving than others. The idea that some genders or sexual orientations are better than others is an expression of this false hierarchy of human value. I'm really glad to see that the Juneteenth resolution passed unanimously in committee. I'm hoping that it passes here tonight. Chattel slavery was an institution that likewise depended on the belief in a false hierarchy of human value in order to justify its oppressiveness. I hope that you will also vote to add the Pride Month resolution to your agenda tonight and pass that as well. Whether or not you do, the lives of people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans are equally valuable already, because God does not make junk.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kimberly Delish. I am a resident of Flint Township. I am a she, her, and I am part of District 2. I see you over there. So last week I was a little bit disheartened because as a queer and also as the club advisor at Mont Community College for the Gay Straight Alliance, I was here to support Dale Wayhill and the Pride Resolution, only to see it not go forward. And I urge you to reconsider that no vote this evening and put that forward on the agenda. As a county looking to bring new residents to our cities and our towns, and I know this for a fact because I have seen Ridgeway White on a commercial talking about this, Pride Month is crucial to show that we welcome everyone, every single person, and that we foster a community of acceptance as well as inclusivity. While symbolic, it does serve as a reminder to everyone, once again, that we all deserve respect, that we all deserve equal rights, regardless of who we love or how we may identify. Supporting Pride also leads to a much more accepting society. In essence, celebrating and supporting the Pride Month, it's a powerful statement that creates a ripple effect towards a more inclusive world where everyone can live authentically, especially in Genesee County. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dylan Luna. I'm a Flintstone born and raised. I earned my BA at Michigan State, my MA from Ann Arbor, and my MBA from Flint. I'm here tonight because I love this community. But today, I serve as a senior global attraction manager at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Now, in this role, I work to recruit companies from around the world and across the country to invest and grow here in Michigan. When these companies evaluate where to locate, three factors consistently rise to the top: talent, diversity, and quality of life, regardless of their size and sector. That's why I'm here tonight to voice my support for this resolution, not only because it's the right thing to do, but because it's also smart, strategic for our local economy. Communities that celebrate diversity, including those in the LGBTQ+ community, are proven to attract top talent, spur innovation, and draw tourism. The data is very clear. Inclusive, welcoming communities can thrive. Let's lead with both compassion and clarity, but also by passing this resolution, we're sending a strong, powerful message. Our county is both open for business, open to people, and committed to a future where everyone can feel welcome, love themselves, love their neighbor, and love their families. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary Beth Seward, and I live in Flint Township. I watched the Genesee County Commissioners Committee meetings last Wednesday, May 21st, on YouTube, and was extremely disappointed when the resolution introduced by Commissioner Wayhill to acknowledge June as Pride Month did not make it out of committee. The two commissioners who voted no should have voted yes to allow the resolution to be brought before the entire board. There are 9 commissioners who should have the chance to vote on this resolution. It was wrong for 2 of them to have stopped it in its tracks. The United States Declaration of Independence asserts that all human beings are created equal and that all people possess the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that these rights will be protected by law. Furthermore, our Genesee County Board of Commissioners has a non-discrimination policy and strives to promote an inclusive, collaborative culture, both in county government and in the county at large, which recognizes and values the diverse population of the residents of this county, including the LGBTQ community. This board has passed resolutions acknowledging many other groups so far this year, which has been an amazing and wonderful gesture. No one is insisting that anyone has to participate in Pride celebrations. However, as a resident of Genesee County, I would appreciate knowing that my county government is acknowledging and supporting all people, including the LGBTQ+ community. If there's any way for the board to bring this to the floor tonight to be voted on by the full board, I implore you to do so. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Heather Labby. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and I'm a resident of the city of Flint. I hope that you'll reconsider bringing the Pride Month resolution to the full board tonight. Why? Because this is an affirmative act. The message is yes. Yes to ensuring that people have equal protection under the law. Yes to practicing what we say we value. Yes to continuing to create a community where people can pursue their dreams. Yes to all the creativity and the possibility and the messiness and the excitement of inviting everyone to the table and celebrating the work that they have done to build that table. Say yes to the feeling of safety that accompanies all of the ways that we demonstrate mutual care and concern and respect for each other. It's a yes to that sometimes a little scary, but also really cool and exciting feeling of interacting with someone who's different from you, who has had different life experiences, who has a different perspective on why things are the way that they are and what they could be, whose very presence in your space leads you to question and reflect what you think you know and why you think you know that thing. It's yes to learning something new. And I know this because I've been teaching college students for many decades. And thinking about these kinds of issues used to sort of break their brains. And I joke now, like, it's just not as fun. Because this is the world that they have built and are building and that they love. And it doesn't scare them.
Thank you.
And this is what they want.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aria, and I'm only 10 years old. I believe our county should recognize Pride Month. Even though I am not LGBTQ, I still believe in recognizing Pride Month. Just because people love the same gender doesn't mean you should treat them differently. So recognizing Pride Month says that people are safe here. It also tells me and my friends that we can be ourselves. So I hope you choose to recognize Pride Month. So I am an ally. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Samantha Cardenas. I'm a resident of Fenton, and I am here to request that you guys reconsider the resolution for recognizing Pride Month. I just want to remind you, on your website, it specifically states, "Together we are building an inclusive, collaborative culture for the benefit of all residents of Genesee County." Recognizing Pride Month is how you can build that inclusivity. Some people argue, why have a Pride Month? Why don't we have a month for other groups of people? Well, as a straight person, I don't need a whole month to recognize who I am, because I've never had to worry that my blood family would reject me for who I love. I never had to doubt that I have the right to marry who I want to marry and live in peace and happiness. I've never had to wake up and think about killing myself because people don't love me or they think that I'm less than. So that's why I don't need a whole month to recognize anything. But the LGBTQ community needs a Pride Month, and not just the Pride Month. I think that we all need to recognize everybody every single day of the year. And so I just, again, request that you reconsider recognizing it, because whether you recognize it or not, the LGBTQ community is going to be here. And those that love them and support them are going to support them no matter what. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Susan Lanstra. I'm a resident of Grand Blanc. The county website, sorry, I'm quoting this too, states that the Board of Commissioners holds a mission to provide vital public services from criminal justice and human services to infrastructure and economic development. Our goal is to ensure that every community, no matter the size, receives the support and resources it needs to succeed now and go into the future. My current area of study is, as a master's student at Michigan State, is social work. This county employs many social workers, all bound by the same code of ethics, including dignity and worth of the person and in social justice. As commissioners who oversee the allotment of funding for these programs that provide services to the LGBTQ community without prejudice or discrimination, it is imperative that this Board of Commissioners recognize the importance of honoring them in Pride Month, as it has been done in the past. These actions help solidify the social contract the commissioners have to serve each person fairly and justly. As a social worker, I hope you realize that taking on this public servant role, you have responsibilities and ethical duties that are adjacent to mine as a social worker. And in our mission and goals, the commissioners should see to it that the county's celebration should align with the marginalized communities you were elected to serve. please reconsider and pass Commissioner Wahale's resolution to show that you are willing to ethically support all members of Genesee County so that they can feel supported by the services that we offer them. Thank you for this time, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Hello, my name is Gregory West. I am of Grand Blanc Township, and I am a 15-year-old bisexual male who has lived in Genesee County my whole life. The importance of Pride Month being recognized carries the same importance as other representative months, such as Black History Month, Autism Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention Month, and many more examples, such as Jewish History Month, Jewish Heritage Month, that you guys recently covered. In all of these examples, including Pride Month, serve the same purpose, to make sure that a marginalized group is represented and respected as everybody else is. Pride Month's origins was as a recognition to the Stonewall riots when police stormed a queer inclusive space for no legal reason and the subsequent protests against such an injustice. When Pride Month is celebrated, we are celebrating that people like me exist, that we are allowed to exist, and that we are proud and that we accept others like us. The importance of acceptance is best demonstrated by the recent concept of mom hugs. I've seen a few people come up here with a shirt saying free mom hugs. The idea being that those whose parents don't accept them for who they are can be accepted by others. Another goal of Pride Month is the normalization of queer people and specifically queer youth. Queer children often go through their whole life without seeing many examples of people like them. I, for one, knew that I was interested in boys from the age of 8. I did not know that being bisexual was a thing until I was 14. It took me a long time to reconcile with who I am, but now that I am able to, I am asking for queer youth like me to be acknowledged, for us to be accepted, for us to have a month of acceptance and appreciation, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is David Scheidler. I live in Mount Morris Township. I'm here today in support of Pride Month, not because myself or my loved ones are queer, though some are, but as someone who knows what it is to be outcast, unwanted, and misunderstood. As someone on the autism spectrum, I grew up as the weird kid that nobody liked. I was largely friendless, cried myself to sleep often. My peers didn't understand me, and how could they? I didn't even know at the time that this was who I was. I just figured it out a few years ago when my daughter was diagnosed. I had no example to look to point to, nothing to explain my differences and give me reason to take pride in them. So I value the idea of pride. Creating a space for those who don't always fit in to stand tall, so that when people refuse to try to understand, or even treat us as if we're broken, we proclaim to them and to ourselves that our differences are wonderful and worth celebrating. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kim Dombrowski, and I live in Flint Township. I grew up in a very religious, very right-wing family. I knew that I was queer in my early 20s, but my environment was so restrictive that in my family that just wasn't possible. We don't talk about it, we don't do it, none of that. So I put it out of mind. And knowing this, keep in mind, part of this is like a 20-year career in the social work field in various areas. So I worked with people who would have accepted me, who would have had no problem with me being queer. but that shame that had been instilled was so deep. Sometime before the first Donald Trump term, my conservative fear started to dissipate as I got more and more disgusted by his bigotry and hatred. I opened up my eyes and finally came out to myself and the world when I turned 36. I didn't think it would make much of a difference, honestly. I thought it would just be another thing. But it changed my whole life. It unlocked parts of my personality that I had been shoving down for over 30 years, aspects that I now embrace fully and am very proud of. I learned I want to fight for marginalized communities even more, that I am way more of a tough person than my family would have me believe. My strength comes from lifting other people up, not excluding them. If it weren't for public pride celebrations and my out and proud friends, I might still be living a lesser life. I was not happy. I knew something was wrong and I didn't know what. So, past this. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Sanders from Clayton Township. I represent the River Rats, a supporters group for the Flint City Bucks and Flint AFC semi-pro soccer teams. We are a diverse organization, and our primary community outreach involves supporting the LGBTQIA+ community through our annual pledge drive in support of the Flint Pride Festival. We would like everyone here and watching online to go to flint.prideracer.org and make every goal in June count more. We, the River Rats, appear before you to request the adoption of the Genesee County Pride Month resolution. CDC data reveals that 1 in 4 high school students identify as LGBTQ. Compared to their heterosexual peers, the CDC also reports this group faces significantly elevated risks. They are twice as likely to report feelings of sadness and hopelessness, and 5 times as likely to attempt suicide. LGBTQI+ high schoolers also are twice as likely to experience physical and online bullying, as well as violent threats. Tragically, they are 3 times more likely to be victims of sexual assault and 5 times more likely to experience abuse within their own homes. While these statistics are alarming, research conducted in 2020 indicates that a supportive community, demonstrably vocal in support, has the potential to mitigate these risks. I would like to thank those commissioners that have and those that are planning to support the community. Your support and dedication in these trying times is a beacon of hope. To those who feel that religion condones bigotry, I would ask you to do as a Jesuit Catholic would and reflect what Jesus would do for those that are part of our common home. Would he turn his back or walk with those that are excluded? Ultimately, the objective of the River Rat standing here before you is to demonstrate our commitment and support of the community against the bigotry within our community at large. In closing, we, the River Rats, request you to adopt the Genesee County Pride Month resolution. And if you don't, well then, as we often chant on game day, eat our shorts.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Brown, and I live in the city of Flint. I wish I'd prepared some words for today. I grew up in Fenton, and I graduated in 1979. I really do hope that you pass this resolution in honor of Pride Month. My best friend came out to me in 1979, the year that we graduated from high school. Life for him was not easy. As a matter of fact, he called me today, just a couple of hours before I came to this, and he is living his best life now out in Portland, Oregon. I am so grateful that he is now living his best life. That hasn't always been the case for him. He lived a closeted life for a very long time. He went through many times where he was very suicidal. He had a very, very, very difficult run. And through that time, he has always come to me. And he, today, even at this time, tells me that I saw him through so much, and I can't even believe that because he has given me so much. You have no idea the power that you have and what you can do for the LGBTQ community. Through this resolution, you have no idea how you, by this move, can help people's lives. You have so much power. Please do this. Thank you.
Hello, I'll be speaking with and introducing some others. I'm Kiana from Flint in District 2. I'm here with Brianna Sierra from Flint, Lena Edgerton from Mont Morris, Alicia Verschure from Fenton, Ava Salem from Flint, Connor Faulkner from Davison. Last week, commissioners neglected to pass a resolution that would recognize June as Pride Month, a resolution similar to resolutions that had been previously passed and supported by this board. This resolution didn't ask for funds or actions from the commissioners, but solely recognition of Pride Month in support of the existence of the community members who celebrate this event.
Perhaps this was due to an idea that not approving the resolution avoids having to make a public statement on the matter. However, voting it down is a very public statement in itself. I have to ask what message is intended when the resolution is turned down. What do we, as a community, no longer support? This resolution is in support of fair, equal treatment under the law. Do we no longer support equal treatment? Do we not support inclusivity and the recognition of positive community contributions from LGBTQ+ community members?
Pride is about being able to celebrate who you are and not having to hide parts of yourself to be accepted by our community. We cannot say that we are truly free and equal society if we tell citizens that they must live in silence and invisibility.
We are a part of this community. We are in your individual districts. Your job as commissioners is to represent. We, the people in your district, including LGBTQ+ members, are here tonight to ask that you reconsider this resolution. As youth leaders in our schools and communities, as former youth commissioners who have sat beside you, we are here to urge you to reconsider your stance on this resolution. We look at our government as a source of hope and foundation for positive, inclusive policymaking for the betterment of all citizens. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bobby Walton, and I live in Davison Township in District 3. I have to say that that was extremely impressive for me. I love to see our young people caring about what's going on. I speak tonight for BABS, which stands for Bad Ass Bitches for Democracy. And our over 300 members, our members have come together to work to preserve small d democracy. We ask you to please pass this resolution, recognizing June as Pride Month in Genesee County. When women and minorities are recognized for their humanity and their collective presence in our society, why deny the LGBTQ people the same? They have a right to pride and to be treated with dignity. This Board of Commissioners has recognized many observations of this sort over the months and years. Why deny our gay sisters and brothers the dignity we give to others? When gay people found their voices and became a political movement, they began to have political power. The same happened for women and minority groups in general. The beauty of our coming together is we have a collective voice, collective choices, and political power. That means we can sit at the table, have respect, and make a difference. Our humanity is recognized, and that is no small thing. It is not. And please do not tell me your religion excuses your denial of the political presence of anyone. Religion has been used to defend slavery, the treatment of women and children as property, and other forms of cruelty. There is no place at the table for prejudice. When my grandson came out to me when he was a freshman in college, I told him to live his life with happiness for who he is and who he loves. I want him to have his pride. I want all of my friends and the people I love to have their pride. The reality is we all know someone we can support in this way. Please pass this resolution.
Good evening, Commissioners, and Commissioner Wayhill for bringing this resolution. I'm here, my name is Tyona McIntyre, and first and foremost, I want to thank all that was in support of the resolution, and I hope that those that wasn't change their mind. I want to first start off by saying that when, back in June 2015, June 26, 2015, when the same-sex marriage was passed, I was a part of that history because I was the first same-sex couple to obtain a marriage license in Saginaw County. I've been married, I was married for over 15 years. I am now currently divorced. But I am a resident of the city of Burton, and I'm hoping that what all we have said here today will bring y'all to pass this resolution and put it back on the agenda for the rest of the board. As so many others have said that there's many other entities that has their days, their months, throughout Genesee County. Why shouldn't we have ours? Having Pride Month would give us the opportunity to be able to do things throughout the month, just like so many other religious and non-religious entities throughout Genesee County. It gives us the opportunity to be able to put together, we can have a same-sex retreat, we can have couples retreats, we can have anything that we want to, but we only get a day. Right now, we only get a day, and that's Flint Pride, and we celebrate it on one day every year. I think it's unfortunate for us not to have a Pride Month, or for not to have a month that includes all of us. We are a community within a community that's often not accepted in the other communities. You know, we fight for our rights, and with so much going on today, with so much being taken from us as an individual, as gays, as lesbians, as bisexuals, as non-binary, and all that's being taken away from us today under the leadership. I mean, people being put out the military because of their orientation. I feel that it's very important that the board pass this resolution and put it back on the board for it to be voted on, and I yield.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Brandy Pirtle, and I'm a resident of Burton. Pride Month matters in honoring American values because it is rooted in the principles of freedom, individual liberty, and the right to live without fear. These are values Flint seems to stand for, from resilience through economic hardship to commitment to rebuilding the city stronger than before. Recognizing Flint's LGBTQ residents, our neighbors, veterans, business owners, faith leaders, and public servants. Officially recognizing Pride Month says you are seen, you are valued, and you belong. This benefits everyone. It promotes unity and public safety. Communities that embrace inclusion tend to be safer, more united, and more attractive to families and businesses. When we foster a sense of belonging, we reduce the risk of alienation and division, something every strong city should strive for. Cities that recognize Pride Month, including Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Detroit, see positive attention in local economic activity from community events and inclusive policies. This is a low-cost, high-impact way for Flint to project strength, unity, and forward-thinking leadership. This is about respect, not politics. Recognizing Pride Month isn't about promoting a political agenda. It's about recognizing the dignity of all Flint's residents. Just like we honor our veterans, we celebrate Black History Month. Pride Month honors another group of Americans who have faced adversity and fought for their place in society. This respects faith and family values. Many LGBTQ individuals are people of faith and family. Pride Month doesn't undermine traditional values. It reinforces compassion, respect, and love for one another. Celebrations in Flint can be local, respectful, and family-oriented in line with our city's character. A Flint-focused call to action is to issue a proclamation recognizing June as Pride Month in the city of Flint. Allow community groups to hold peaceful, family-friendly events that promote inclusion and civic pride. In closing, this is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. It's a Flint issue about treating every resident with dignity, fostering a city where everyone is safe, respected, and proud to live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tara Phillips, Linden. I want to begin by saying that I respect the dignity of all individuals and believe that everyone deserves to feel safe and valued in our community. However, I must express concern regarding the formal recognition of Pride Month by publicly funded institutions, especially in settings like government agencies. Federal guidance has constantly emphasized that public institutions must remain neutral on matters of ideology. When a government entity adopts the symbols, language, or celebrations associated with a specific social or political movement, it opens itself up to claims of viewpoint favoritism and potential First Amendment violations. Public institutions risk losing access to certain streams of federal funding if they are found to be endorsing specific ideologies or if their program creates an environment that could be construed as non-inclusive to other groups. Title VI and Title IX of the Civil Rights Act require strict adherence to non-discriminatory practices, including in the messaging and cultural promoted by institutions that receive federal funds. This isn't about exclusion. It's about ensuring our government offices remain neutral, inclusive for all, and in compliance with federal law. Let's focus on promoting respect, kindness, and civics without aligning our public institutions with specific identity-based movements that may unintentionally marginalize others or place funding at risk. No one in this room, no matter what you're faced with, is less than. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Hackney. I'm a current resident of Flint Township and a lifelong resident of Genesee County. Like many here today, I'm urging the commission to put forth a vote in favor of the resolution to recognize June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month. I have worked in social services in this county for almost 20 years, and I'm bold enough to wager that I know your constituents better than you do and see them more frequently. I've had in-depth conversations with residents in their home in every district. I know the community intimately. I know the direct personal impact felt by residents when they are rejected, including when lives are lost as a result. I'd like to remind the commission that the state of Michigan has a population of roughly 10.1 million people. It's estimated that 4% of those adult residents openly identify as members of the LGBTQ+ community. While 4% does not seem like an overwhelming number, you must understand that 4% of 10.1 million is 404,000. 404,000 people with faces, names, identities, and the right to vote. For comparison, the population of the entirety of Genesee County is smaller than that of the state's adult-only LGBTQ+ population. I'd like to take a moment to also remind the commission that by ignoring the LGBTQ+ community and failing to recognize them as members of your districts, you are choosing to be ignored in the upcoming elections. And by not demonstrating the respect for your fellow humans, you're placing yourselves in the same categories as Anita Bryant and Robert Knight. The former Secretary of Labor, Frances Perkins, stated, "A government should aim to give all people under its jurisdiction the best possible life." We are all actors in this nation's outcome, and local government decisions have ripple effects. The question is, which side of history do you want to be on? Thank you.
Hi, Rob McCullough here. Genesee County resident my whole life. I went to K-12 at Swartz Creek and U of M Flint. I'm a current resident of the Mott Park neighborhood, and I'm living in Flint and fiercely loving Flint and Genesee County as a whole. Much love and respect and gratitude to each of you for serving and helping maintain and build a complex infrastructure across our diverse communities so that we can flourish and thrive. Many have referred to our county's stated commitments before and the economic development and attraction considerations. I'm going to skip that for brevity, but consider this another reference to the same. I really liked the young man in green's reference early on to the book of Matthew. Way too often when we blur the lines of separation of church and state, we're on the side of religion as a political power tool. If those lines are going to get blurred, I'd far rather the Beatitudes from Matthew than the Ten Commandments. Nothing about Pride Month resolutions impinge on religious freedom of those around us, but a stance in opposition tells many among us with high suicide rates, many among us who live in varying degrees of fear from bullying and violence. They're not welcome here. It gives an okay to those types of behaviors, bullying, etc. There are so very many ways we show up as humans. If you're thinking of opposing this from a religious standpoint of any kind, I ask that you really reach into the deep well of grace, of empathy, of loving whomever you may deem to be your enemy. And even still, let's let the whole board represent their constituents rather than just a couple. Thank you so much for your service and consideration for those constituents of yours who are telling you that they or their kids are vulnerable or that they feel unsafe.
I just want to say I am very nervous being up here. You have some very good people talking. You got very good people that came up here to express their views. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Come on. My name is Ashton Marion. I'm 35 years old, and I'm probably a 16-year LGBTQT plus promoter. I've been doing this since I was 19 years old, and I want to recognize the outstanding work that all the commissioners have been doing for the city of Flint. I want to thank you all. Give it up for yourself, please. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that y'all have done. I want to make this quick as possible, and I don't want to make this personal, but I want to give a little story. Commissioner Lloyd, when I was 18 years old, I met you across the street, and you was running for city council, and you didn't know me from a can of paint, and I asked you, if you win that position, what would you do differently than the last person do? And you said I would be equal and fair. I took that moment to heart, and I followed your career, and you kept your word. So thank you. The previous person in that position was my cousin, and like I said, I thank you so much for keeping that going on. Thank you so much. You have over 100 people here, and not one person got up and said they want anything different than equal rights. That's all they asked for. That's all we asked for. Pride Month, for the last 20 years, has been financially successful to the city of Flint. Hopefully, with an equal vote, we can all continue to feel equal, and we would not go back. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
To all of my commissioners and to everyone here, I want to ask y'all a couple questions out here in the back. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good over here? Everybody doing good? I want to ask my commissioners, are you guys having a good day today? Y'all having a great day? I just want to take this moment to have a time to just discuss love. Because I feel like in these times we have not been moving in love, and that should be first. So I want to say that my name is Jessie Davis. I am 26 years old, born and raised here in Flint, Michigan, right in 48505 in the heart of Flint, Michigan. I am also a performance artist. I am a vocalist, dancer, choreographer, also from Flint, Michigan. I am currently working for Wellness Services here in Flint, the home of Flint Pride Festival. And I just want to say, anybody here that's queer, LGBTQ, or even an ally, could you stand for me? That's most of this room. I'm not sure if you all really took the time to listen to what all of these people had to say, even out here. I'm not sure, Dale. I want to say thank you for being here. I want to say thank you for all of your contributions to this community as well as to this board. We appreciate you. We back here, we appreciate you. But I hope that you all really took the time to see these people, these humans that are back here. We are people within Genesee County. Rather, if you are in Davison, Burton, Flint, Michigan, Grand Blanc, you are people. And I want to say first, I am a man. Secondly, I am a Black man. And thirdly, I am queer. None of those take away anything of the man that I am. Do you understand me? Okay? So, when I go and I perform for Juneteenth, like I'm getting ready to do, when I go and I help with my job, whom I love dearly at wellness services at Pride. And we set up, because it's a very, very small number of us who do this work. We do this out of love for the communities that we serve.
Thank you. Please summarize.
And I would just like to take the time to end that there with that statement. And I want to tell you all that I love you all with the love of God, and I love everyone here behind me with the love of God.
Thank you.
My name is Sadie Bernane. I'm 23 years old. I currently reside in Mount Morris, but I was born and raised in Flint. And I'm here to request that you reconsider the resolution brought forward to recognize June as Pride Month in Genesee County. One of the things that I've always admired about our county is the way that we come together to build community and how we lift each other up, even in difficult times. And as a queer woman who is deeply involved in local politics and community outreach, I am outraged by this careless and exclusionary decision. We contribute to this county every single day, and to refuse to acknowledge us is a disservice. This board has recognized many groups over the years, and rightfully so, but the decision to exclude the LGBTQ+ community sends a harmful and confusing message. We are your neighbors, your coworkers, your family members. You represent us. And that is why the failure to pass this resolution is so disappointing. It does not reflect the true values of this community or the people who live here, especially in a time when LGBTQ+ rights are being targeted across the country. Flint and Genesee County should stand up and show support for all its residents, because that's what community means. We can and we must do better. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Evan Carr. I'm a resident of Davison, Michigan. I believe it's imperative this board reconsiders and passes the Pride resolution. I've read the resolution, and it's nothing controversial. It's a simple recognition of queer people's humanity. And recent research from the University of Michigan School of Public Health shows LGBTQ youth in Genesee County, LGBTQ youth are 4 times as likely to suffer from mental health issues and 3 times as likely to suffer or to commit suicide. So please stand with humanity and pass this resolution.
Good evening. My name is Jane West. I'm a resident of Grand Blanc Township, so District 5. Thank you, Mr. Avery, for representing us. And I'm here for a couple of reasons. First off, to support my wonderful son, who I'm exceptionally proud of for speaking today, Gregory West. And also to ask Mr. Avery if you can be part of helping to get this resolution back in front of the full committee and to give your support in affirming it. And finally, to read an open letter that was written by my friend who resides in District 4 and was unable to be here today. Her name is Julie Hunnigan, and she writes, I was incredibly disheartened to hear that Pride Month resolution Commissioner Dale Kenneth Wayhill introduced was voted down. As a mother to a trans child, as well as a performing arts teacher to numerous queer youth, including a Queer Safe Youth Summer Camp, I know very well the importance of recognition and support in the LGBTQ+ community. I won't assume to know that you who voted it down were what you were trying to say, but I will tell you what you did say to these kids. You said you don't care. You don't care about their identities, their future, or even their lives. Statistics show that even just one accepting adult in a trans child's life can reduce their risk of suicide by 40%. How much more could a simple resolution by our local government recognizing Pride Month do? Please, neighbors, it costs you and the citizens literally nothing to uphold this resolution. But voting it down could cost some of us everything. I urge you to reconsider and prove to our youth that they all have a home here. Thank you.
Hello, City Council members. My name is Amy Mosher-Rao, and I live in the city of Flint. I'm here to urge you to vote against the resolution. By adopting this resolution, you are saying that the LGBTQ+ community are more important than others. Where does it stop? We don't have a special month. We don't and never have had a special month for women. We don't have and never have had a special month for men. We're all equal. By having special months for groups, you are dividing us, not uniting us. We should all be treated as
Excuse me, one second. Will you roll our time back a little bit? If, to the public, if you can keep your kind of responses down, we want to be respectful of all speakers regardless of their position or statements, all right? Thank you so much. If we can just roll back our time just a little bit, if you'll continue.
I forgot where I was. We should all be treated as equals. I would also like to say that the point of this board is to focus on the finances of our country, of our county, not resolutions on social issues. I thank you for your time.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Evan Brewer. Nice to see and meet all of you. I've never come to one of these things before, but I felt the need to today because I'm sick and tired of fighting for my place in this world. I'm sick and tired of constantly being put in boxes. And when I go to Pride, that is the one place where I never, ever feel unaccepted. This is the one place where I can go up to anybody and say, hey, can I have a hug? And I will always get a hug. But if I try to go to my neighbor today who has massive flags up in their yards, I would be met with a gunpoint. And I hate that I have to go outside feeling fearful every day for my life just because I decide to have pink hair that I buy with my own money. But I do it every day because I am not fearful for myself, because I know that I have to fight for what is right. And that is to pass this resolution. No matter what. It doesn't matter what you think, what you believe. People are people. We all bleed red. We are all on the same piece of rock floating in the space. We all are here and we all deserve to be here. This is all of our first time living life, and we all deserve to have it equally. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Commissioner Lloyd.
Good evening.
Especially Commissioner Wayhill. My name is Michelle Gushin. I live in Flushing, Michigan, and I am a proud MEA retiree. I retired from Flint Northwestern High School, and Jesse Davis was one of my students, as was Commissioner Lloyd. Anyway, I'm very proud of them. I won't belabor the point. Everyone was so eloquent speaking, and I came kind of last minute because when I was teaching, some of my gay students would come, say, during lunches or during my prep period. And yes, and he was. And it was heart-wrenching. And anybody that's been like a social worker, a counselor, or an educator understands what I'm talking about. And they would tell me about people that would call them at night and bully them. They would tell me about kids who would dump their food in the cafeteria. And I'm sure they told other teachers too. And if 30 days in the month of June could help one child feel good about himself or herself, why wouldn't we do that for our kids? So I just want you to think about that no matter what your political beliefs are, it has nothing to do with that. We need to save our kids. And if this helps them, why can't we have Pride Month? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cheyenne Miles, and I have lived in Genesee County my whole life. I would just like to remind all of you, you're supposed to have our best interests in mind, including your whole community, but we're also a part of that community. You're supposed to serve us, not yourselves, us. We need you to set aside your prejudice and your bias and make the right choice. I only see one right choice in this matter. It costs you nothing and shows that you actually care about your community, like you want all of us to believe. If you can't do that, then I think you should find a different job.
Hi, my name's Dan Herbeck. I live in Fenton Township. Wasn't planning on speaking tonight because I'm a terrible speaker. But, you know, I started, something kind of reminded me of something that's back of my mind, and I hated high school, school in general, and social studies, but I always remember they always said the US is a mixing pot. You know, it's the great experiment, and our diversity is what makes us strong. And the Statue of Liberty, we even put it on the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. It says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." And it's basically saying everybody. So we are called the United States of America for a reason. That's what makes us strong. And that's how we're going to survive. So I am a straight person, and I 100% support Pride Month. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Olivia, and I am from Mount Morris. My pronouns are they, them. So I am here today, for one, thank you commissioners for being here, and thank you so much for using the energy and time that is required to think about this. So I just want to say that the LGBTQ plus community and pride within itself, it is not just being queer. It is about being colored, disabled, and reminding everybody here that you are not permanently abled forever. Disabled people and taking care of them is for all of us. Anyway, it's a community. It's about mutual aid, love, respect. And if you were to fall down, Sean, I would pick you right back up, regardless of how you may feel about me and what I do behind closed doors or how I personally identify. If you were to fall down, I would pick you right back up, because that's what humans do for each other. This isn't any aggression. This is just, it's very emotional for me. Again, as a queer person of Flint, we LGBTQ people, we've been left behind. We've been forgotten. And even if you don't necessarily identify as queer, we're here for you. And I'm sure that Flint, the city of Flint, is very familiar with what it's like to be left behind and forgotten by the rest of the world. So just because it may not seem like much to you that Pride is officially recognized, yes, we are still here. We are very, very queer. We're not going anywhere. So why not have the city of Flint extend that reach and keep those arms out for the unwanted, for the forgotten? Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Hello, my name is Donna Bainey, and I reside in Gaines Township. I first of all want to tell you all thank you for the time and effort that you put into the work that you do. I know it is not easy, and maybe more so when an issue such as this that is so wrought with personal opinion and emotion, it must weigh heavy on all of you and put you in a difficult position probably. So all I want to do is take a statement from your website that is very clear about your role. And it says, "We are on the front lines of providing vital public services, from criminal justice and human services to infrastructure and economic development." That's why you're here, nothing else. Thank you for what you do.
Hello, my name is Cody Lejeski. I just wanted to say I'm here for the same reason everybody else is, because I love my community and I think everyone should be included. But the way that I thought we should all be included is not by Pride Month, it's by coming together and having roundtable-esque discussions or using the auditorium that this body uses when they transition to their new building. Everyone here, or at least all the commissioners, have already received emails as to why that's not possible. And the first excuse that I was given was that we couldn't secure the records, but that only applies to this building. I imagine with all the money that we sunk into making a brand-new state-of-the-art government building, we wouldn't have a problem securing the records. So if there's any other excuse that you can come up with, Commissioner Cousineau, I would appreciate it. But your behavior on the side is 100% inappropriate. I came to you with a concern as my elected official. I laid it out to you very clearly, and I do not like the way that you think you can brush me off to the side just because there's only one of me. Granted, I can't get 100 people to show up for something as silly as us having an actual say in our government. That doesn't mean that my opinion is any less important, and I would encourage that if you all pay attention, all of you paid attention to what was actually going on at this board every single week instead of just when it was involved with your sexuality, maybe you would be up here a little bit frustrated about the failings of the board as well. The McCreary building is a joke. The savings that we're going to get from it at the very end is a joke, and nobody's going to take accountability for that. You wanted me to answer a question for you. I can answer it now. One of the primary responsibilities of this board is oversight of county officials, which is what I called for last week. And I'm pretty sure the resolution that gave Mr. Freeman his job is one that you voted yes for. And all I asked for was that we go back and look at that resolution and put in a term limit and then make it so that it goes to the committee of appointments. That's it. And then I asked to use taxpayer-funded auditorium resources. That's all. So thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Drew Marsh. I was raised in Davison and now live in Burton. So I'm in the 3rd District, Commissioner Gottsinger. Thank you for serving. I just wanted to say, first, thank you for giving some of your time and treasure to serving on this commission. I know it's not easy. It takes some of your time. In fact, I know some of you guys have to miss some of these meetings because of your other obligations in life, whether it's health or family or whatnot. And unfortunately, with the committee meeting, I feel like that's where it kind of got fumbled here, where one commissioner was leaving. And aside from my own personal experiences with my sexuality and coming to accepting it and the struggles that I went through, this resolution would be very helpful to not maybe everyone here, but also the kids are at home that don't know if they have a place where they can be accepted. So with that procedural snafu that happened at the committee, I hope that all of the commissioners here can do their colleagues some courtesy, extend some courtesy, and allow this to be placed on the agenda so all of the commissioners can have their say and debate on this. Because I think it's something that the entire commission should be able to debate about. With that, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the debate.
Good evening, colleagues. Dominic Clemens, Flint Township, joined with Sam Muma from Flushing. We both have the distinct honor and privilege of serving as county-wide duly elected officials here in Genesee County. Probably no surprise, we're here to speak in favor of this resolution. I just want to say I am amazed at the outpouring that we've seen of individuals here showing love, but also want to say thank you to all of you in the work that you're doing, to the commissioners who introduced this resolution and kept the mantle going for several years about this, but also a thank you to those that voted in opposition of this resolution. Because in past years this has passed and there's been no fanfare, no discussion. Because we had that split vote, we now have the opportunity this week to have a showing of how broadly supported this resolution is through Genesee County, that we'll be able to actually make this more visible, because that is the whole point of Pride. I'm an intersectional individual that identifies as an African-American male who is strong and devout in my faith and my personal relationship with Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, and happen to be one of the youngest elected county clerks in the state. And because of all that, I am in support of this resolution, because what I've dealt with growing up because of my identity has been bullying and teasing. In my adult life, in my career, I have been challenged, I have been campaigned against simply because of who I am, what I look like, and who I love. That has gone as far as people running against me just because of my identity, people threatening my life, people putting dead animal carcasses in my yard because of who I am. That is the power of this resolution in saying that Genesee County, we don't stand for that. I hope that you all pass this resolution, but regardless of what vote happens today, nothing will take away the fact that Genesee County will always be home to the first openly LGBT county clerk in the history of the state of Michigan. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. My name is Angela Richardson. I'm from Flint Township. I'm a Black woman. I'm a minority. I do not need to be honored, celebrated, or affirmed. I'm here to support the members that stood against the resolution, and I thank them for their courage, and I would implore you to have courage as well. I'm going to represent probably, I guess I'll say, the vast majority of people who don't want to come here and listen to the type of comments that we've heard today, for the sake of making us feel guilty for not wanting this resolution. We would like for the board to handle the business of the county. If there are resolutions for other groups, I hope you would please stop. I don't think there needs to be resolutions for any group. If there's to be unity, you don't need to single out a single group. And by the way, for those of us who truly read the Word of God, we understand that pride is a vice, and we do not want to support pride either. If there are crimes against individuals, I hope we have police, law enforcement to handle that. If there is fear and anxiety amongst any people, I hope that there are enough health professionals, mental health professionals in the community. I thank you for your time, and I appreciate all that you do for the county.
Hi, I didn't expect to talk tonight, but I feel I have to. I'm Susan Owen Kinsey. I currently live in Richfield Township, so I'm assuming that the Davison Commissioner is probably my representative. Before that, I lived in Gaines Township. I am straight. I was married for over 30 years until my husband died. I have a child, had a child. He was also straight. That doesn't mean I exclude people. I have friends who aren't, and I see what they go through, how much easier my life has been just because I am straight. I am too old to have watched Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, all of those things that teach you people are people. But this is what I reinforced in my child, and I think most of us do. This does not take away, this resolution does not take away one thing from my being. What it does is add to it, and I am not alone. I have groups of friends and just people I know in Richfield Township, in Davison, in Gaines, that feel the same way I do, and most of us are straight. Just because we are lucky enough that society looks at us as equal to them does not mean that we neglect those who society unfortunately does not treat the same way as they treat us. We should all be treated the same, and giving this simple acknowledgement that they are people is the least we can do. I wish we could do more. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything.
Good
Good evening, ma'am and gentlemen. I want to say thank you for your service. My name is Kimberly Broom. I am a lifelong resident of Genesee County, a product of the Flint schools, and a very proud citizen of the United States of America. It's very funny that at a time when diversity and inclusion are the buzzwords of the hour, we have more diversity, more division, and more exclusion than I recall in my years being here, which I won't say what they are. I respect and appreciate your neutral position on this situation. One thing that I know, having worked for the Genesee County Health Department, having worked for GEAR, Genesee Economic Area Growth Revitalization, having worked for the Flint Area Chamber of Commerce, one thing that no law, no pastor, no church, anyone can do is legislate the human heart. If I have it in me to hate and be divisive, there is no law that will change that. I would be all for a Veterans Month. I have veterans in my family. I would be all for a law enforcement month, which at this time in history, our law enforcement is very disrespected and not supported by a lot. I would be in favor of a month for those who fight to stop human trafficking, child trafficking. I would support those things. But as a governmental unit, I believe the position is to remain neutral, and that I thank you for.
Hello, my name is Celeste Hall and I'm 10 years old. I don't exactly know if I'm a citizen to Flushing, but a lot of people have taken a lot of time just to make these speeches, and it has warmed my heart. And I just wanted to say that a lot of people don't know that there are other people out there just like them. Gay people, bisexual people, lesbian people are out there thinking that they don't fit in, that they don't belong. And being honest, even though I'm just an ally, I felt like that sometimes, that I didn't belong. And now that I have come up here and truly let out my feelings, I can tell you guys that a lot of people took a lot of time just to make these speeches. And I would just like to say thank you all for being so kind, even though you don't know who you're talking to, who the people you think. I didn't really have a speech, but still. I would just like to thank you all for spending so much time to say stuff.
Thank you. It appears that we've come to our final speakers. If there is another speaker who wishes to speak, if you would go to the wall now. If not, these will be our final speakers.
Hi there, I'm Vanessa MacDonald. I'm from Grand Blanc. And I just wanted to say, there's been such outcry here on both sides of the fence. It's not a great place to be. But I just wanted to let everybody know, I am a huge, huge advocate for the gay and lesbian community. I'm surrounded by it. My friends, my immediate family. So I know what they're feeling and where they come from. And somebody said, well, are you an ally? I don't consider myself anything but an advocate for everyone in this room. I know what they go through. I fight people on a daily basis. People, now when I say fight, I don't mean literally, but I mean, I stand up for the gay community. Like the one person said, God doesn't make junk. But in saying that, the problem that we have as a community as a whole. We're all so different. All of us are mutts. We're just mutts. And we all come together and we live in the United States of America. That's what we are. We are people of the United States of America. And for my people that I love so much, I love you and I feel for you. When you adopt a principle such as giving a month to gay pride, it's segregating them. And as I stand and fight for them, it's putting them to a side. There's so many church members that I argue with all the time. I don't attend certain churches when they say something negative about them. If they can't teach in their, Sunday school classes just because of the sex that they love, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there. But I don't want them to be unincluded in the United States of America, and I don't believe that's a position that you people should make. It's not a governmental thing. It's an independent thing. We have birthday parties, however we want to have them, and I'm sorry I'm going over. We should be able to celebrate everyone anytime we want to, not to have a 30-day period to do so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So I'm gonna do this because we want to make sure the speakers we have on our on the wall now will be our final speakers for this evening.
Hi there. My name is Mark Loisel. I'm from Flint, born and raised. I'm the son of a union General Motors worker who retired from the metal fab after working for almost 40 years, who's passed away, veteran of Vietnam War. Married to a wonderful queer black woman for the past 13 years. And I'm here to basically remind a few people here that equity is not pie. Taking away from it doesn't take away from anything else. It doesn't run out at some point. At some point you have to recognize that recognition of pride does nothing other than just say, you're welcome here, and you are. They're going to be here whether we welcome them or not. So to suggest that this takes anything away from anyone is ridiculous to me. The mere fact that we have to be here for a vote that has passed unanimously every single time it's come up is ridiculous. I walked up here in the rain because I had to. I'm not usually someone who does public speaking, and I'm not someone who usually shows up to things like this. I'm incredibly nervous, as I'm sure you can tell. But if I didn't say anything after hearing some of the comments that have come from some people, I don't know if I could sleep tonight. Now, my wife couldn't be here. It's her birthday today, and she chose to spend it in Georgia with her family, and she'll be back. But we need to remember that nothing takes away from anything else by recognizing someone else. It's just not for you, and that's it. And you can just stay home and you can mind your own business like you do with everything else that happens in this country that is wrong. And you can keep that to yourself, and that's okay too. But to suggest this takes away from anyone is insane to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I'm from Byron. I just wanted to clarify that there are actually several months dedicated to honor those who have lived and died for the Pride community. Well, there's 1 month for the Pride community, but lived and died, including Women's History Month and just recently Memorial Day. There are also several other holidays throughout the year that celebrate and honor those. That's really it. Yeah. Oh, I hope you guys have a nice night.
All right.
Hello, I'm Oliver Boucher, and I reside in Fenton, Michigan. I had nothing planned for today, but I really wanted to talk. Flint Community Pride was the first ever Pride event that I ever attended. It was this small, lovely little like craft fair event that was just really cozy and nice and lovely. And it made me feel like part of the community. And I think that events like that are really important, not just for queer folk of the community, but for everyone. Just because it brings us all together, and I can't see what might be wrong with that. And just having a Pride Month to celebrate the LGBTQ+ community doesn't take away from anyone else. If you wanted to do something to celebrate a certain community, all you have to do is start. You gotta build a group of people who want to celebrate that thing, and you can celebrate it. That doesn't mean that other people can't celebrate other things. And I really hope that you guys can reconsider and hopefully reinstate Pride Month as an official thing in Genesee County. Thank you so much.
At this time, I would like to thank those who took the time to speak today. Thank you for being respectful and sharing your perspective. This is what government in part is all about. At this time, public speaking is now closed. At this time, we've now come to our communications portion of our agenda. Before us, we have Genesee Health System update, an update on the millage from Dan Russell.
Good evening.
Excuse me, Dan. Excuse me, Mr. Russell. Okay, all right. Okay. Once we conclude this discussion, we'll come back and yield the floor to colleagues. Mr. Russell, thank you for being here tonight to give us an update on the millage relative to Genesee Health Systems.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That's a tough act to follow. Regardless of what side you are on, you heard a lot of very articulate, very passionate speakers tonight. And I'd like to think I'm going to do as well, but I don't think I am. But I will be short and sweet, so there's that. I know most of you. Those of you I don't know, I'm Dan Russell. I have been the CEO of Genesee Health System, Genesee County Community Mental Health Center for 26 years. And I'm here tonight to give you a summary of the mental health millage. And I want to say this is a fairly high-level, broad summary because there's a lot of information that we have. I can come back at any time and speak on any specific subject that you want. There's a lot of programs in here. There's a lot of detail within each of the areas that we are undergoing, and I'd be happy to come back and give you more detail. Please just let me know. I do have hard copy handouts if anybody would like, if that would help you read along if the print is too small. So first of all, why did we do a millage? Why did we need a millage? Genesee Health System has a fairly large budget. We are mostly Medicaid funded. Medicaid is a great payer. It's a great health plan if you meet medical necessity, and the bar is pretty high for that. And what we saw during the water crisis and followed on that by COVID was increasing demand in the community for services for individuals that did not meet Medicaid necessity. And we have very, very little funding to take care of anything other than a Medicaid population. We get a little bit of general fund. We have grants that are very service specific. We don't have just general money to provide services to individuals that have legitimate mental health, substance use issues, but they don't meet Medicaid necessity. So during the pandemic, we decided we would run a millage, and we used public service consultants from Lansing. We did a lot of focus groups. We did surveys to find out areas that were needed. The millage passed May 4th, 2021, and we started receiving money about a year later, I think we got our first deposit, probably end of May, maybe June of 2022. So we're really only just about 3 years into this. We knew the first 2 years were going to be slow. A lot of the programs that we found out that were needed in the community were pretty complex. They weren't the kind where you just hang your shingle out on Friday and you start seeing people on Monday. A lot of the greatest need in the community was working with law enforcement, supporting them, crisis services, and those are services that are very regulated, they're very complex, and it took a lot of time to get those going. We're just now starting to ramp up, so we figured the first 2 years were going to be kind of slow. On the left of the screen, you can see those were the 7 millage areas that we determined from all of our campaign work and work with public service consultants that were needed in the community. I'm not going to read all of the handouts for you. Again, I leave those for you. I'll point out a couple of the highlights. We came up with 7 focus areas. Preeminent among those was law enforcement in a couple of different areas, crisis services, suicide prevention, and work in the schools. I also want to add, very importantly, that most of everything I'm talking about tonight are new services, and they are services that we did not provide before because they are not Medicaid eligible. So all of these services are brand new, and they are all millage supported. On the right of your screen, you can just see some fairly general metrics, 25,000 people served, 55,000 encounters, 17 different programs that are currently in place. Now, a lot of those are very early in their genesis. They are just getting started. There are a number of areas that are particularly high impact. Again, I will not read those for you, but a couple of the areas that we spent a great deal of time planning and implementing are working with our law enforcement. We do a lot of training with law enforcement. We do a 40-hour program called Crisis Intervention Training. We added 86 new officers who were certified during 2024. I believe our total in the county to date is 187 officers. This is a 40-hour program, and it teaches law enforcement officers how to react to individuals having a mental health crisis, as opposed to committing some type of criminal act. Thank you. The other area I want to emphasize is our work in the schools. Prior to the millage, we did very little work in the schools, mostly because Medicaid does not pay for service that goes out of a specific location. With the millage, we are now in all 26 districts. I believe we have programs in 121 different school buildings. We have a U-Cares program, which is a mobile crisis service specifically for schools. It is when schools experience a situation with a student that kind of escalates beyond what the school staff can handle. We dispatch staff and we help the school staff facilitate that intervention and hopefully calm that situation down. One of the big areas that we saw a need for that came out in all of our surveys was crisis services. Prior to the millage, there was no after-hours crisis service in the county other than our crisis hotline. We had a crisis, there was a crisis center in 1998 and it closed. And individuals experiencing any kind of behavioral health emergency at 2 a.m. unfortunately usually ended up in a hospital emergency department or in law enforcement. Behavioral health urgent care clinic just is about to go 24/7 at our new facility at 1040 Bristol. That will be 24/7. They will have access to social workers and psychiatric care also if medication is needed. At that same location, there will be 16 beds for 72-hour stays. Those are the individuals, when we talked about the millage beforehand, that were spending time in the emergency department when there was no place for a bed. They couldn't get into a bed, and a lot of those individuals would stay in emergency departments on a gurney in the hall, 10 hours, 15 hours, sometimes for days. The crisis stabilization unit does not cure that 100%, but it puts a big dent in that, and it gives people who have that behavioral health emergency a place to go where they're going to get appropriate care from appropriate staff in a warm setting that is built specifically for them, and they don't have to spend that in an emergency department. That has been ongoing, and we are about to open that in June. We're having an open house, I think in June 16th. I hope you can all come to that. We'll send you flyers for that, but that will be a fairly big service for the county. That's the first service in the county. There's only a couple other services like that in the state of Michigan. That did take a particular long time and a lot of work. The Crisis Center has its own code book, and the state was developing a lot of those as we went, so that did take an unusually long amount of time. These are just some details that go along with these focus areas. You can read over those. I think the ones that might interest you the most are work in the jail. We have a full-time therapist in the jail, sees inmates. We also do a lot of work with sheriff staff and correction staff. Okay, what everybody wants to see, I would imagine, is the budget. This, again, is an overview aggregated and then up to probably March of this year. So you can see the revenue, current expenditures, and then it goes through what is left of the budget, what our current budget is for this year. And again, remember, first couple years were startup. We expected to hit our stride in 2025. And you can see at the end of the fiscal year, we are projecting a fund balance of about $11,000. Again, we still have a lot of work to do on our crisis services, but we should have everything up and running by mid-year. Oh, okay. Again, this is just this year's budget. Again, very broad areas, and we can provide, again, I can come back and give as much detail on any of the specific areas as you would like. Currently, the millage pays for 32 individual staff. We have about 10 open positions, and there's probably another 5 or 6 that will be needed as the crisis center comes on full speed. So that is a quick overview. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and again, I can come back at any time.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Commissioner Cousineau.
Hi, Dan. As you know, I'm the finance chair, and I'm a little confused. It's been a while since I looked at your budget, and last time I looked at it, you had $15 million in fund balance. And that was less than a year ago, and now you're showing 11,000. You know,
Okay,
I really need to sit down with you and find out where that money's been going and why there's such a big discrepancy.
Well, yeah, I
You
think,
know, so I think we might not be able to answer it right here, but.
I can answer. The 11,000's at the end of this year, so that's not currently. Currently, I don't know what the fund balance is. It's probably, could be still 15 million, but most of those expenses are going to hit between now and the end of calendar year 25.
Okay, the other question I have is that for some time now, I've been working with 911 and the crisis that we have with ambulance response and the amount of the times that the ambulances are called. for mental health issues and behavioral issues. And the question I've been proposing to them, and we're just looking at it at this point in time, is how could we possibly use some of this millage to help take people instead of into the hospital or emergency for things that can be handled through your crisis center. And do you have an answer to that?
I do. Now, we have trained dispatch, 911 dispatch, and we have a co-response team. We have a team of a sheriff and a behavioral health worker that ride together that receive calls from dispatch that are, in their opinion, more mental health than something else. So we currently have one first shift. We are working on staffing the second shift, and I believe we're waiting on a sheriff's deputy to do that. So our goal is to have that available all 3 shifts.
And then are they able to divert them to your crisis center at this
Absolutely.
point in time, or
Yeah,
they
no,
still
I think
have to
if you
go
look
in?
through the handout or the slides there, we have about a 97% diversion rate on our co-response. So when they go out, when the co-responders go out, 97% of the time, that ends up in a mental health issue and does not go to the hospital, does not go to the emergency room or the sheriff's department. And if that fails with our crisis stabilization unit that's going to come online, they'll go there. That's what that unit's for.
I know for a long time I worked with the Step Up program to divert people and help and train the sheriff deputies on de-escalating techniques so that people didn't end up in the jail that didn't need to be in the jail, and diversion into other areas. And so I assume that this crisis center, I know that was something that was talked about for a long time, is accumulation of all that.
It is.
I just wanted to make sure that people are being sent there instead of overburdening the system in another area that they really don't belong in.
Yep, that
And,
was
anyways, as these next few months evolve, I plan on sitting down with you and talking about those things and seeing how we can better serve this community in this area here.
That's great, and that's what the CSU is for. That's what the co-response is for. As far as working with the prison staff to inmate staff de-escalate, I would suggest you talk with jail leadership and ask what GHS does in the jail. Even though we don't have that contract, ask them what kind of work we're doing.
Well, those are some of the other things that we need to work on as a community to make sure that our citizens are taken care of because there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of money out there spent on healthcare in this county.
There is.
But the results of all that money, we have very poor results. And I keep, a few times every year I point that out. We spend more money per capita in this county per person than any other county in this state. But yet, for the quality of health in this county is at the lowest in the state.
No, I
And
don't
so we have to do
disagree with
better,
you.
and this is just part of the equation.
It is part of it.
Yeah.
But the crisis center and the CSU are a big part of what you just talked about.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of the millage, was to treat people in an environment where they were respected and they were welcomed, as opposed to, somebody on a gurney in the hall of an emergency department who's dealing with car crashes and accidents is not the right place. That's what CSU was designed for. That's what CSU will do. Again, we would love to have you at the open house.
We'll be talking, thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Dr. Brown, did you ask for the floor?
I was just going to ask, has this report been to the Finance Committee at all for them to take a deep dive?
I don't know that. It's been through my finance committee. I don't know what the county has done with
Well, I concur with Commissioner Cousineau's remarks that, the Finance Committee should really take a deep look at some of the numbers and including the grants to nonprofits, the guardianship and training, that nearly $2 million. I think that warrants some more feedback. So I would just request that happen.
Thank you. Commissioner Wayhill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Mr. Russell. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dale.
How are you? I promise that I'm going to get around to taking the tour that you offered me probably about 2.5 years ago. My apologies. Couple questions. I guess this one is page 3, or slide number 3. On the total population served, you're at 25,500 essentially. Are any of those duplicated? Or is it all unduplicated?
No, those are discrete individuals.
Discrete individuals. Within that number, are there, for lack of a better term, frequent flyers? I'm assuming there are people that have sort of an ongoing issue with mental health that you engage with more than once?
I'm sure there are. We have a lot of those in our system.
So I guess the follow-up to that is, are there any programs within the focus areas? I guess there's 17 of them within the different 7 focus areas. Are there any programs that are keyed on those individuals that are chronic users of your services in order to provide them with additional services or deeper services than just the sort of the surface level crisis intervention?
We do. The millage services tend to hit more of a mild to moderate. That's a kind of a phrase in the field that we don't like to use, but our core services that we've had for 60 years, those are services for individuals that are more seriously disabled and challenged. And it's not unusual for somebody to get identified in one of the millage-funded services and get transferred to one of our core services for more intense. And that can be case management on a weekly, bi-weekly. We have programs where individuals are seen daily, all the way up through residential and into inpatient. So
that's really helpful to know that they complement one another. The core services, remind us again where the funding comes. It's grants, federal dollars, Medicaid?
Our core services are almost exclusively Medicaid.
I see.
93 to 95% Medicaid.
Okay. And what's the total annual budget for your core services?
$185 million.
Okay. Given what is happening at the federal level, or may happen, or potentially happening, maybe you don't have the crystal ball, but there's a lot of talk about potential cuts to Medicaid. What are you hearing within your networks of other GHS or other community mental health organizations across Michigan and the country?
That's a tough question, and I'm on calls with state and federal colleagues probably now 2 to 3 times a week, and that's probably all we talk about. I don't know that anybody has an answer. I think we're all very concerned. We're all very, very scared about what happens if some of those cuts actually get implemented, because we are, in most communities, we are the backup. We are the safety net. There's no backup for us. If we're not there, we don't have a really good plan B for that.
Do you have a state association or a national association?
Both.
Both. Do either of those have a lobbyist arm, government relations?
Very much
They
so.
both do. All right. I guess I would say to you that we also have a lobbyist that we've hired for the county, and it's certainly of interest to me, the mental health of our constituents across this county. And so I guess if there's ever times where we can tag team with your association lobbyist or your national, just talk with Mr. Freeman.
Oh, great.
And we can, mostly it's a Lansing situation. I don't know that we do a lot at the federal level, but certainly at the state. And you may have said this, I started listening to Marty ask his question about 911, and then I was trying to talk to Commissioner Flewelling offline on this topic. So it may have been asked, but I see a lot in here about law enforcement and funding of training for law enforcement. How does EMS, how do firefighters fit in, if at all, given that they are probably encountering, maybe not with the same rapidity, but certainly encountering these kinds of individuals as they do their calls, do they fit in at all right now? And if not, is there any plan to?
They do, and the metric you'll see is, I believe, titled First Responders. Now, the majority of that is going to be law enforcement, but I know, and I don't have numbers, but I know we have done interventions with EMS and firefighters.
Okay. So where it says law enforcement, it really is first responders?
There's
Or-
one metric in it that says, I think, first responders specifically, and I think that was titled specifically because of that.
I see, okay. And then, let me see what I got. That is all. I appreciate your time and you waiting through some democracy at the beginning of our meeting. Thank you, Dan.
All right, any other questions before we move forward? Commissioner Shoemaker.
One question, just 2 points. I think Commissioner Wayhill, to kind of answer your question, total served is 25,000 people, total encounters is 54,000. So I think that would kind of give you an idea of where your repeat offenders are, how many people, because if they're keeping track individually, and then how many events they actually have there. So I think that might be it. And you could possibly later on give them an exact number, but I think that probably gives you your number you want. My next question is, I was just looking on your millage budget report, and I just was wondering what the difference was between staffing and administrative costs. I understand what staffing is, obviously, but what are administrative costs?
That probably, any general administrative, I can get that breakdown for you.
Are they salaries also in there, in administrative
No.
costs?
No,
Just function, operation, buildings, grounds, other stuff like that?
yeah.
Okay, thank you. If you would, please. Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? All right, seeing no one else, thank you so much for being here tonight. We'll certainly follow up as well. Commissioner Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer a point of personal privilege. I'd like to take this opportunity to, out of respect for the residents who came out tonight and chose to engage in this process, I'd like to make a proposal that we add a resolution to our agenda tonight.
Yes, if I may, okay.
So I move that we add the resolution for Pride Month to our agenda.
All right, so it's been moved to add the Pride Month resolution to our agenda. Is there support?
Support.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Dr. Brown, supported by Commissioner Winfrey. All right, is there any discussion on adding it to the agenda? And then we'll, if this passes, then we'll have the actual agenda and then we'll debate the,
Call, please.
all right.
Roll call, please.
Roll call. All right, is there any discussion on the motion to add it to the agenda? All right, Commissioner Getzinger.
I feel if, since this kind of died in the committee, that rather than bring it to here, it ought to go back to committee. That would be a more of a appropriate protocol.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak? Commissioner
Mr. Chair,
Flewelly.
So, not knowing how this vote's going to turn out, I'd like to read a statement that I had prepared for this particular resolution and the results of last week, if that will be appropriate right now.
Okay, is it discussion as it relates to adding it to the agenda?
No, it's regarding my vote last week that everybody wants to know about.
Oh, okay, that's germane to what we're discussing.
That's germane, thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to respond to Mr. Fonger like Commissioner Shoemaker did because I was up north for several days last week and couldn't make contact with him. So, I wrote it down while I was up in the woods because I wanted to reduce my thoughts to paper so I didn't ramble and didn't, miss anything. But so over the past week, I've had a couple of very important conversations regarding this vote. The first being with Commissioner Wayhill prior to last week's meeting. Out of respect for him, I wanted to give him a brief explanation of why I would be voting no. The second was with my cousin, who is also a member of the LGBT community. We grew up together, and she remains one of my best friends to this day. As I explained to them, I do not believe that any of these resolutions belong at the county level of government. In my brief time on this board, I have found them too often to be distractingly divisive, and not conducive to good governance. It is my firm belief that we were elected to these seats to serve as good, fiscally responsible stewards of the taxpayers' money and work towards the long-term financial stability of Genesee County. In the 4 years that we have been passing these resolutions, I don't believe that has happened. We are engaged in a deficit reduction plan. We have a $500 million in unfunded pension and OPEB liability. $500 million, I want to make that clear. And we now face reality that ARPA funds are a thing of the past. Additionally, we face socioeconomic crises such as population decline, lack of good paying sustainable jobs, and housing issues. Over the past 7 days, between email and social media, I have been called everything from a backpedaler to a liar to perhaps the most colorful, an agent of chaos that will be dealt with accordingly. I think everybody can pretty much figure out what that means, right? Yeah, cute. Now, I want to make this clear because there are people that have reached out to me that voted for me, that supported me. But during my campaign, I made one promissory statement about myself, that in my nearly 30 years of public service, I have treated everyone equally and will always do so. If I am called to where help is needed, I don't care about your skin color, your gender, your religion, your sexual preference, or who you vote for. If you need help, I will help you. And I know that there's people in this room that I've had that conversation with over the past 9 months, 10 months, 12 months, what it may be. This issue is no different for me. I do not view people through the lens of identity. I sit next to Commissioner Wayhill every week, and I feel that we work very well together on many issues. However, when I look at Dale, or I speak with Dale, do you know what I see? I see a man. I don't see a gay man. When I look at Commissioner Brown, I see a woman, not a black woman. Commissioner Lloyd, a man, so on and so forth, all the way down the line. That is what I promise because that is how I live every day, and I always will. We are humans first, men and women. It is my belief that identities divide us and create barriers. I also firmly believe that you shouldn't need government approval or blessing or endorsement to live and celebrate your history, heritage, or your life. Many on social media this week have stated that you don't need our permission. I agree. Completely. By all means, celebrate as you did prior to 2021 and every day thereafter. Government should be less involved in our lives, not more. Live your life and exercise your constitutional freedoms as so many of you have here tonight. But you doing that and this board recognizing it does not help this county move forward. It does not help the business of the county move forward, in my opinion. Up until several months ago, when a couple of my colleagues expressed concerns, we only voted on 2 of these a year, so I'm told. Now, we seem to have 1 a week. Perhaps I should have made this statement weeks ago. I know I should have, based on what I believe and the way I feel, but I did not. Again, my stance has less to do with Pride Month in and of itself, but rather my belief that these resolutions are not conducive to the expedition of county business. But here we are. I do not believe that these issues belong at a county government level. And as such, I will be voting no on all of these resolutions from here on out. Did I before? No, I did not, but I will be from now on. Good for one, good for all. I will vote no on every one of them from now on because we have business to do, and I don't believe that this is conducive to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on adding this to the agenda? Any additional discussion? All right, seeing none, a roll call has been requested, correct? All right, roll call on adding this resolution to the agenda.
Commissioner Lloyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Winfrey?
Yes.
Commissioner Getzinger?
No.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Avery?
Yes.
Commissioner Shoemaker?
No.
Commissioner Kuzno?
Yes.
Commissioner Wayhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Flewelling?
No.
All right, 6 yes and 3 no, motion passes. Now we have before us the Pride resolution. It's on the agenda. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution. I'll read it out loud. I move that whereas the United States of America in its Declaration of Independence asserts the self-evident truth that all human beings are created equal and that all people possess the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Whereas the same Declaration of Independence asserts that government is established in order to secure and protect these rights. Whereas the United States Constitution in its 14th Amendment guarantees the equal protection of the laws. Whereas the Genesee County Board of Commissioners, as the government of Genesee County, has previously adopted a non-discrimination policy, pledging itself to adhere to these founding beliefs. Whereas Genesee County government affirmatively values and has worked to establish an inclusive, collaborative culture where everyone is needed and valued. Whereas the county's LGBTQ+ residents and visitors are part of the human family with the same fundamental rights to equal treatment and equal protection as others. Whereas the month of June all over the world is recognized as Pride Month in celebration of the many contributions made by members of the LGBTQ+ community to every endeavor, occupation, and sphere of life. Whereas LGBTQ+ residents of Genesee County have made and continue to make significant contributions to the quality of life in all sections and all sectors of our county. Therefore, be it resolved that the Genesee County Board of Commissioners acknowledges June 2025 as Pride Month in Genesee County and encourages all those who wish to celebrate to do so proudly.
All right, so the item on our agenda has been moved and supported, moved by Commissioner Dr. Brown, supported by Commissioner Winfrey. Is there discussion on the resolution? All right, Commissioner Getzinger.
I'd like to echo the comments of Commissioner Flewelling. I feel that this is outside of our business. I think every month should be Pride Month. You know, I think we should pass a resolution that says we accept everyone and move from there. And I just don't think proclamations are part of our business, and I will not be supporting this.
All right, any additional discussion? All right, Commissioner Shoemaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I sat down here and the public came and they talked or spoke, and I appreciate their speech. I appreciate their passion. First thing, and this has been said before, it'll be said again, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I hate you. But it doesn't give you the right to call anyone a bigot. It doesn't give you the right to call anybody a religious fanatic. It doesn't give you the right to tear anybody else down. It does not. Freedom is tough. Democracy is tough because guess what? You, to respect it and understand it, you have to sit there while somebody else stands and waves their flag for something you're totally against. But they have their right. This week, as in past weeks this year, I've received some very upsetting emails and phone calls. To those of you who were kind and gracious and expressed your opinion, I say thank you. For those of you who showed your lack of tolerance for somebody else's beliefs, you have become the thing you fought against.
Excuse me, please maintain decorum and respect as the speaker is speaking.
Because tolerance for you is only if they agree with you. I have justified my position year after year down here. I work with Commissioner Wayhill, and I hold him in the highest esteem, but it's not because of his sexual orientation. He's one of the few people with integrity, the integrity enough to know that when I stand against him, he never has, and not, my attacks are not against him, and he knows when I'm talking or speaking, it's not that way. But he's allowed me to say that. There have been chairs who have tried to stop me in my ability to speak, which is my right. Commissioner Wayhill actually stopped that former chair and said, no, he has his right. That's integrity. And maybe more people out there should take an example from Commissioner Wayhill with that. Now, I've heard that people have been bullied and abused, and I have received such statements and comments and things done to me or said to my family for my views or my religion. That's my lifestyle choice, just like if you are part of gay and lesbian community, guess what, that's your choice. I'm sorry to express to you that you feel that way. I'm not apologizing. Don't worry.
One second, ladies and gentlemen. We want to avoid outburst in this room, just as we made sure that all speakers were able to speak, because regardless of their perspective, now this is the opportunity for the commissioners to speak, and we want to give them the same respect. Appreciate you so much. Please proceed.
I really am. I'm shocked. Because I think Commissioner Wayhill will tell you, I mean, I may disagree on this, but I've shown him nothing but respect and love throughout this thing. And anyone who knows me, as far as anyone who's gay or queer, never treated them any different than just a human being. But the response you get when you live up to your religious convictions, and I'm sorry, I serve God, and if you want to read the Bible a little further and you want to talk to me, I'll show you a couple sections a little farther on that.
Excuse me. Excuse me again, if there are, excuse me, 1 second. If there are additional outbursts, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the room. I want to maintain, and we would like to maintain a respectful environment where anybody, regardless of your thoughts, are able to speak without disruption. Please, I don't want to become the bad guy tonight. Please hold your responses. Thank you so much. Commissioner Shoemaker.
I've kind of lost my ability to speak from where I wanted to, but I'm going to go back to this. And if I repeat something, I apologize. I do. I like working with Commissioner Wayhill. To the point, he knows that my father put his name on the ballot against him. I asked him, I said, don't stop, don't do it. The whole thing is we are focused on so many of the issues that aren't issues. You had 2 resolutions you brought up honoring 2 groups before, like I said, before I took the ridicule for backing up against the DEI Commission and saying they weren't doing their job. And I didn't think we lived up to the commitment, what they said. And I took so much flack for that, but yet now all of a sudden the resolutions are rolling in. To honor people, but you don't want to honor everyone. You don't want to give everybody their day. It's only certain groups, once again, you still deemed worthy. And that's not right. It's not. I wish we weren't doing this. There's so many other things we could be handling. The upcoming legacy costs that we don't have funded, the fact that is, guess what, we're riding a high right now, and yes, we can pay our bills, and we have a surplus slightly. But eventually we have to deal with those things. But instead, we deal with these things brought up again and again and again. I do feel bad for everybody who's been there, but you know, it's funny. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Other people have been there too for their beliefs, their values, or sticking up for them. Never raised any different. One of the proudest moments my son got in trouble for in his life was sticking up for a gay young man as our neighbor on the bus, and they called me up to the school because the kid was picking on him. He put the kid in a headlock, and I will tell him to do it again and again and again. The only time a kid's ever been in trouble in school. But I would tell him to do it again, because it wasn't right what they were doing. It wasn't right the way we were treating this young man. But if you want to berate me or other people who vote against this for their beliefs or because they're tired of this, then so be it. But I really mean it. You've become what you oppose. That you can't see other people's views, and just respect them and move on. That's all I'm asking. I have my views. Commissioner Wayhill and I think, work well together, even though we disagree on this one topic. But I think we both love this county, we love this country, and we love the people of it. And I will state, and I've said it very clearly, if you want to live your life, you live your life however you want. I'm happy for him that he's living his dream. And he tells me he's happy, and I'm happy for him. But my happiness revolves around my religious beliefs and who I am as a Christian. And my experience. And there are many others in the country that do also. So I have to live up to what I believe is the Word of God, and I will. And you can talk about separation of church and state, but that is not in the Constitution. And you look at our founding fathers, how many times in Washington God is mentioned in all the other areas. So I don't want to hear that. I believe this motion will pass, like I told Mr. Fonger in the paper. They'll bring it back up. It'll be on there. They like their stories for the paper. But I think we need to stop this. Not this, just this one, but the majority of these, if this is the consequence. If something was to happen to a fellow commissioner because they opposed this, would you feel okay? I got a voicemail today, and so did it. I mean, it really did. It really upset me. And really, you guys know me. I don't get freaked out by stuff like that. But when's it enough? Is this what we're supposed to be doing? So I'm gonna stop. I love you. I really do appreciate you. I respect that you're happy, but I know you respect the fact that, guess what, because I have my beliefs and I read the Bible, and certain areas that you may see different, and your brother that's the pastor sees it maybe differently from there, that we're gonna disagree. And I thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate your leadership through this whole thing. Hearing everyone's voice, I think that's a wonderful quality, and I think you do it very well, so thank you.
Thank you. Any additional discussion on this resolution? Commissioner Dr. Brown.
I really, it bothers me that my colleagues are attacked because of their points of view, but yet I have a conviction of creating, and a duty and a responsibility to create an environment that fosters a welcome environment and economic development. And, I want to share a quick story that affected me personally, and that is, several years ago, I was in charge of doing a national search for a CEO of a local nonprofit. We got together, made a list of all of the things we wanted in a leader, all the things we needed in a leader, and we conducted the national search. One person stood out above all the rest. The person was from New York. We wanted to be sure that this person was the right fit, so we flew the person in to Genesee County to interview them in person. After we conducted the interview, we were even more convinced that this was the person we wanted to lead our organization. So it gave me great pleasure to call the individual and say, we would like to offer you this position for this amount of money. Will you accept? And the candidate told me no. And I was just puzzled and disappointed. And I said, why? Is it the money? Is it the organization? And the candidate told me it was neither one of those things. It was the climate that she experienced when she came to Genesee County. And that was a strong message to me because she shared she was a proud member of the LGBTQ community. I share that story because we missed out on a phenomenal talent from New York that could have been here. We missed out, it made me wonder how many other talents we missed out on or could miss out on if we don't create a welcoming environment. And so that's one part of my argument, the lens of talent and attracting talent and creating an environment that is welcoming to everybody. And in my opinion, that is a part of our business. And I hate that we have to spend 2, 3, 4 hours on a topic like this because the climate should be welcoming, period. we should be respectful of everybody. And so I will definitely be voting yes on this resolution.
Thank you. Any additional discussion?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Getzinger.
I would like to say that I'm really confused how not passing this turns our environment into a non-welcoming environment. I feel that all these proclamations basically divide our groups more than bring us together and make us less welcoming because we're identifying one group that we're welcoming. Well, how come we're not identifying another group that we're welcoming? So I'm really, really confused, and I've heard that over and over tonight about how not passing this resolution is so unwelcoming when I made wrote a lot of comments about they want equal rights. Who doesn't want equal rights? Inviting everybody to the table. So passing this resolution is inviting everyone to the table? I don't think so. Non-discriminating policy. By passing this shows we are non-discriminating? Really? What about all the people we're discriminating against that are against this policy? I mean, it just goes on and on. Let's celebrate everyone. Hell yeah, let's celebrate everyone. Include everyone. Why not? Every member of our community feels welcome. Yeah, we want that. But how do we accomplish that? By passing a resolution for Pride Month. Like I said before, let's have Pride Month every month. Let's pass a resolution that Pride Month should be 24 hours a day. Great, let's have it, but let's pass it for everybody. I mean, why do we want to divide groups and pick on certain groups to celebrate? Let's celebrate everybody. I don't get it.
Additional discussion, Commissioner Wayhill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will start with a thank you to all of my colleagues, including those who will be voting no against this resolution, which I have drafted for the third year in a row. I will affirm what Commissioner Flewelling said. He did speak with me last week before the committee meeting and talked with me about the fact that he was not going to be able to support this, so I thank you for that. Ed is a man of integrity on my right, and I have two men of integrity on my left, but I'll mention the one from the 6th District, my colleague and friend, Commissioner Shoemaker. He and I did not know each other when I joined this commission in January of 2023, and probably were wary of one another, given our political backgrounds and the fact that we are partisans. But I do think that we have grown to appreciate one another and respect one another. And if his convictions say that he cannot support this, he should not support it. My convictions are otherwise, which is why I've drafted it again. I want to say particular thing. When this failed in committee last week, it's true that we had a missing member, and I think had the member been there, we probably would have a different environment this evening. But it is what it is, and it's interesting because sometimes your own supporters in your own community get on you, even though you wrote the resolution, you chaired the meeting, you took the effort to bring it, and then when it fails, they're upset with you, meaning people were upset with me who are in the LGBTQ community and allies, because at that moment, I was not going to bring this back myself, because I'm the gay man on this commission. I'm that guy. So I didn't reach out to any other commissioners. Obviously, I think I talked to the chair, but not about bringing it back, just that I wouldn't bring it back myself. And on Friday, Dr. Brown contacted me and said that she wished to do so. So I am grateful to you for being an ally, because sometimes the people that are part of the group can only take so much. So I am grateful to you. Let me say that I'm also extraordinarily grateful to the audience members those of you that spoke against it, this is a democracy, and one of the reasons I ran for this position as a political scientist who has taught this topic for years is that I believe our democracy is in jeopardy. And tonight, to me, was a show of good civil society for the most part. Now, some of you don't talk over people who you disagree with, no matter what side they're on. Please don't do that. But by and large, very thoughtful, very sincere. We had people who are not as happy as I am. I'm a confident gay man. I wasn't so confident and so happy. I didn't come out till I was 30. That was 25 years ago. So I spent the first 30 years of my life focused on other things, being the best student, running for school board when I was 18 in the city of Livonia, focused on extracurriculars and outperforming anyone in terms of academics and achievement, because that is where I could find satisfaction, because the society I live in would not allow me at that time, especially, to be who I was. And so I'm grateful for all of you, especially the young people, and those of you that have come out later in life, and you have been able to come out because you see yourselves represented in ways that you weren't 40 years ago. There were no gay characters on TV or in movies or in public office. No representation that you could look to or aspire to. And so I'm thankful for that. And I'll end by saying that my avocation and my vocation since I was a kid has been to focus on this country and my belief that this is an amazing place and that we are a work in progress at all times. When we adopted the Declaration of Independence, you know, I intentionally misquoted it in the resolution. It says all people, but we know that the men, and they were all men, who adopted that said men. All men are created equal. We know that. But Lincoln said at the time of abolition in the Civil War that those men knew that they were planting a seed that future generations in this country would look to, aspire to, and strive for. That it wasn't just men, it was the entire human race that is entitled to unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Among, there are others. And I am hopeful that even today, after years of civil rights struggles for other marginalized groups in our society, trying to become part of that American story, that imperfect American story that we try to make more perfect, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, that this small resolution in Genesee County, Michigan, the 5th largest county in a giant county, it's in the state, in a giant country that we have, will send a signal to people that have been left out, who are not as confident, who are not as happy as I am, that they too belong, and that we will have, as we said during the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of this meeting, where everyone in this room stood, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Seeing no, Commissioner Winfrey.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I am the 5th member of that committee who was absent. And I wanted to clarify to the audience, and I guess I'm somewhat responsible for you all spending your Wednesday evening here at the county building. But my dear granddaughter graduated from college, and I had missed her high school graduation. So if I had missed her graduation from college in Maryland, I would have had to leave the country. So I do apologize, but I fully intend to rectify the situation with my vote tonight.
All right, thank you. Any additional discussion? Commissioner Shoemaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To Dr. Brown's statement, creating a welcoming environment, my question is always this: for who? For who? who's it welcoming for if it's somebody that opposes their view? And you guys have the power, you're the Democratic Party, and guess what? Your views are this. But to who? Or if we go along the commissioners from a third district statement, it's everybody, because then we're not honoring anybody. Because if you are a person, and we have trouble hiring people down here, but like I've always said, and I've challenged people in the DEI community to do this, if you have conservative views or your views are different, guess what? Then what we push, then guess what? It doesn't make, we don't care about their feelings. We don't care about that because this is what we want. And that's why we keep taking these opinions. And there's a lot of people, guess what? Who wouldn't want to work in an environment where they don't feel comfortable. And I get it. But by picking these sides, you're going to make somebody uncomfortable with one or the other. So you can't, don't say we're welcoming, because how do you know you couldn't attract the most conservative candidate and they're not going to want to come to Flint? There's a lot of people, guess what, who are conservatives in the out county that won't come down to Flint because of views and philosophies. But are you concerned with them not coming? No, because they don't fit your ideology. We should be concerned with all. And by passing these things where we divide us all, we only increase that divide. So when you say it's not welcoming, it can go both ways. So I just want to clarify that, because I've had that conversation with many people down here before, that when we're looking for staffing, there might be people, because their beliefs and their views, we're turning aside also. Thank you.
Any additional discussion? All right, seeing none, a roll call has been requested. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Winfrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Getzinger,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Avery.
Yes.
Commissioner Shoemaker,
No.
Commissioner Kuzno. Commissioner Wayhill,
Yes.
Commissioner Flewelling,
No.
Commissioner Lloyd.
Yes. All right, motion passes 6-3. Thank you. So the next item we have before us tonight is approval of the 2025 summer property tax levy. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved and supported. The motion is to approve and direct the levy of 5.3323 mills for general operating purposes to be levied as the 2025 summer tax, and authorizes and directs the signing and submission of the L4029 tax rate request. That motion has been moved, it's been supported. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Getzinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Avery.
Yes.
Commissioner Shoemaker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzno. Commissioner Wayhill,
Yes.
Commissioner Flewelling,
Yes.
Commissioner Lloyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Winfrey.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. The 2025 millage rate for general operating purposes has been adopted. Now, we have come to the remaining standing committee reports. Under economic development, I do not see any resolutions.
No items.
All right, no items under economic development. Commissioner Brown, is there a report? All right. That brings us to our finance committee, Commissioner Kuzno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend last week. I was in the same situation as Commissioner Winfrey, and I had to go to a grandson's open house out of state. So it was that or be excommunicated from this family. So, to Mr. Getzinger, would he please take over?
Yes. Resolution 2025-1699, forwarding to receive and file a copy of the Genesee County Treasurer's second quarter.
Move resolution 1 through 7.
Support.
Consent agenda.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Getzinger, supported by Commissioner Avery. Any discussion?
I moved it.
You moved it?
I moved all 7.
Oh, you moved all 7. Okay, excuse me. So all 7 items in the Finance Committee have been moved by Commissioner Shoemaker, and they were supported by Commissioner Avery, correct? All right, yes.
There's, like I said, I forgot my glasses, but there's one resolution here considering the hiring of the Marine Patrol, 12 individuals. I'd like to take that out because I have a question.
All right, thank you. So item number 7 has been separated out. Are there any additional separations?
Item number 6.
All right, and then item number 6, I'm going to separate that one as well. There's a requested motion on that one. All right, items 1 through 5 are before us. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. There's a request for a motion to drop Resolution 2025-1771. I believe that there's some corrections that need to be made.
Yeah, we'll bring it back through committee.
All right. What is your pleasure?
Move it.
Support.
So the motion is to move to drop, correct?
Yes.
All right. So it's been moved by Commissioner Winfrey, supported by Commissioner Avery.
Commissioner Getzinger.
Commissioner Getzinger.
I know, we look
What
alike.
time is it? No. Okay. All right. So you have it correct. All right. Is there any discussion on the drop? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right. That item has been dropped. Now we have before us item number 7. What's your pleasure?
Move it with a question.
All right. Been moved by Commissioner Cousineau, supported by Commissioner Avery. You supported a lot of stuff tonight, Commissioner Avery. Okay. All right. Is there any discussion?
Yes, if somebody from the Sheriff's Department is still here. I just had a question on the number of people. 12, I did listen to the communication of the debate last week that I missed, but what I wanted to know is what is set aside in the budget for that, and whether we have 6 people or 12 people, are we gonna stay within that budget for that line item?
Correct. There's no general fund money associated with this. The sheriff's office traditionally gets a grant for this. That grant has now been put on hold for the federal government. However, we're working with Michigan Works. They're paying for the training of the deputies, which is going to cover a large portion of it. And then the rest of it has always come from the forfeiture fund from the sheriff's office. So no general fund appropriations has ever been used in the last several years for this.
It's my recollection that the Sheriff's Department has to provide by state statute the Marine Patrol, correct?
We do have to patrol the waterways, yes.
And then, but you don't have any set budget for it?
Correct. There is no general fund budget for this. The 12 people are pretty much the same as 6 people working different hours. The people that we hire come from college. They're trying to get summer's jobs. So their availability is a lot less than a normal person. So there might be 12 positions that we hire, but they may only work 1 week in a month or 1 day a month based on their schedule. So just because we're hiring 12 doesn't mean it's increased from 6 of the hours from last time. That's why there's a higher number, just to cover those hours on the lakes.
Okay, thanks for that clarification.
All right. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, motion passes. Is there a report from Finance?
No report.
All right, no report. Okay, thank you so much. Now that brings us to the Governmental Operations Committee. Commissioner Dale Wayhill, Chairperson, Sean Shoemaker, Vice Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to move resolutions 1 through 3. I'll move number 4 separately.
Support.
All right.
Mr. Chair, if we may remove 1, just for the problem is I thought we agreed on 5 years. We did not agree on 10.
Which item are you speaking to?
Number 1.
So are you asking to separate that out?
Yes, please.
So if I may, what I heard from, I can't remember who spoke to this, was it John Potberry? Yeah, Mr. Potberry. I asked him about 5-year increments, and he said that that was not possible. It was either a 10 or a 20. Am I remembering that? I did ask him that.
It was 20. I apologize, because I knew it was the shorter
Yep,
term.
we reduced it from 20 to
I still
10.
would like 10, though, just to be very clear.
So before we have additional discussion, I want to clarify the motion that we have on the floor.
So, well, I've moved 1 through 3.
Okay.
I don't know if there's support or not.
I did.
All right,
Okay.
so it's been supported to move 1 through 3. All right, is there anybody who wishes to separate out one of them?
If I could just discuss on one, then I don't need to separate it out. But
If there's no objection of the body, proceed.
through the chair, just to the rest of my fellow board members, we're paying them. We're the customer. The fact that they wouldn't do 5 years is a little concerning to me. 10 years is a long time. That's, it's several commissioners maybe from now, you're putting this county in a position. I got home and I got to thinking about it and I went, I'm glad we went with 5, because in my head, that must have been what I wanted. But now that we're at 10 again, I really am not in favor of this. I think we need to go back to the provider of this contract and, negotiate, because I don't understand why we are the customer, they're dictating term.
So let's do this. Let's separate this one out, number one, and let's come back and have additional discussion.
Mr. Chair, I'll alter my motion to move, why don't I just move number 1, since we're discussing it separately?
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
All right, is there
Mr.
support?
Shoemaker.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Avery.
And if I may add to what Commissioner Shoemaker said, I'm not in disagreement with that suggestion. I didn't hear, so I did hear John Potberry say they're 5-year increments, but you have to start at 10 and then you immediately jump to 20. But I didn't hear him say whether they had tried to negotiate 5 years. Did anyone? I didn't hear that at all. So I'm not, unless this is time sensitive, I'm not opposed to postponing this to the next commission meeting, full commission, I guess, or maybe the government affairs meeting or government ops, so that we can ask the prosecutor's office to pursue some conversation with the vendor. Related to that, I did say in the meeting that, right now we're storing these things in a way, some are paper, as I understand it. I know many of those are going to be discarded because they've reached the statutory limit in terms of storage. Others are electronic in a certain way, but things are changing so rapidly that I am concerned about locking us into a 10-year agreement, not knowing whether they will update their systems within Leonard Brothers to accommodate changes in technology. So I'd be open to a motion to postpone this back to government operations.
Are you amending your motion at this
Sure,
time?
I'll make the motion myself to put it back to government ops and that we request representation from the prosecutor's office.
So the motion has been amended. It's been supported by Commissioner Flewelling. Is there any discussion on the postponement? Commissioner Getzinger.
I'm not opposed to the postponement either. I wonder if there aren't conditions built into this contract that if, turns into the Jetsons or something and there's some other way of doing it, there must be something. For 10 years, a long time, especially with technology.
I welcome that question when we get to government
So hopefully
ops.
we can get that answer to it. What are there conditions?
Yep. I'm happy for you to restate that once we have representation from the prosecutor's office.
All right. Any additional discussion on the postponement? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, the item has been postponed. Motion passes. All right, what is your pleasure, Commissioner Wayhill, on the other items?
Mr. Chair, I'm going to move items 2 and 3.
All right, been moved by the chair, supported by Commissioner Winfrey, items 2 and 3. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. That brings us to item number 4.
I'm going to move Resolution 4.
Support.
Been moved by the chair, supported by Commissioner Winfrey. Is there a discussion?
Mr. Lloyd, if I may say why I carved it out or accepted it, I did hear several commissioners, at least 2, that said that they no longer want to support these kinds of resolutions. So instead of them having to remove it at the beginning, I decided to remove it. I'll also mention that we always read these into the record, and I read this one last week before it passed in government operations.
All right, is there any additional discussion? Commissioner Flewelling.
Yes, sir. So, as I said earlier, I'm going to vote no on all of them from now on. I feel like I said it, I'm going to follow through on it. I don't disagree with this resolution, but to stay true to what I said, I'm just going to vote no. I appreciate everybody that was here tonight. As Commissioner Shoemaker stated, we both got the same voicemail earlier, that where I come from, That was a threat. We don't usually do that over email or social media, right? So that's unacceptable behavior. The people that spoke here tonight on the previous resolution, thank you, it was respectful. And if this particular resolution were to cause an issue, I would imagine it'll be the same thing. But as I stated before, I will be voting no on all these from now on. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Commissioner Getzinger.
I too will be voting no for the same reasons stated by Commissioner Flewell, I just think we need to get out of the proclamation business. I fully support Juneteenth, but we need to get out of this business.
Any additional discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right.
Recorded. Three no's.
Let's do, there's 2 noes, Commissioner Getzinger and Commissioner Flewelling. Everyone else was a yes. All right, motion passes. All right, is there a report from Government Operations?
You'll be happy to know there's no report, Mr. Chair.
I don't mind it. All right, thank you so much. All right, now that brings us to the Human Services Committee, Charles Winfrey, Chairperson.
I'm going to defer to Commissioner Avery.
I would like to propose consent movement for items 1 through 4 for Human Service Committee.
All right, it's been moved by the Vice Chair and supported by Commissioner Shoemaker to move all items. Is there any discussion? All right, I have just brief discussion on item number 1 relative to the $3 million that has been awarded that will be approved to provide water payment assistance for eligible Genesee County residents. I think it is awesome that even amidst some of the larger projects that we have going on in Genesee County and some of the larger efforts, that we're still entertaining and taking up resolutions that will provide assistance to residents that need just everyday assistance with matters that they're concerned with on a day-to-day basis, like their water bills and the challenges with water in communities. So I'll be supporting this tonight. Is there any additional discussion? I see no additional discussion. All in favor of passing all 4 items, passing them, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Is there a report from Human Services?
No report from me.
All right, no report. All right, thank you so much. That brings us to the Public Works Committee. Brian Flewelling, Chairperson, James Avery, Vice Chairperson. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I would move 1 through 3 as a consent agenda.
Support.
All right, been moved by the Chair and supported by the Vice Chair of Public Works. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Mr. Chair, may I? I'm sorry.
Commissioner Wayhill.
Sorry, momentarily distracted. I did ask our risk manager, and I think she's in the audience, and she has stayed with us this evening despite a long night. And this is to the point that at least one commissioner was making in this committee, which I'm not a member of, last week, about the cost, which are substantial for resolutions 2 and 3. And as you recall, I remembered that we've had some potential liability issues, some exposure because of things like safety vents and potentially safety guardrails in the jail. So I did speak with her last week and wondered if she might just speak from a risk management perspective why she's recommending these resolutions.
Katie Schoening, Risk Manager for Genesee County. As Captain Kennemer mentioned last week, this was a collaboration between the Sheriff's Department, Risk Management, Purchasing, and Fiscal Services to be able to move funds around to fund these projects. From my standpoint, we're obviously mitigating risk. You don't realize what we have until something actually happens, right? So from my perspective, we have 629 vents that need to be replaced in the jail. It is a safety issue that we'd like to address. Also with the jail netting, to make you aware of what's going on, and Captain Kennemer can probably help me speak to this, we do have people jumping. They are getting injured. We also have employees getting injured by restraining people from jumping off the rails. I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, but the Michigan Department of Corrections, they are allocating money to put the jail screening up in some of the prisons because they are having similar issues. By implementing risk control measures to help mitigate loss. It helps the county reduce our liability, and it shows that we're taking inmate and employee safety seriously. For counties like ours, the investment is often justified when weighed against the human and financial cost of failing to address these vulnerabilities. And from my perspective, the best type of claim is the ones that never happen. So I'm in full support of this. I know we're asking for a lot, but I think by being proactive and mitigating this risk, it's going to reduce liability for us.
All right, thank you. Any additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, motion passes. Is there a report from Public Works?
No, sir.
All right, seeing no report, that brings us to the end of our standing committees. Now we have before us a new and miscellaneous business. The chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session, but before we do that, I'll go to our general counsel for the rationale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll make this quick. Under MCL 15.268, subsection 1, subsection C, that's the Open Meetings Act. This body is allowed to go into closed session for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement. If either negotiating party requests a closed hearing, it's my understanding this board wants to go into closed session to discuss the negotiations with, I think it's the captains and the lieutenants. So you'll need 5 votes via roll call.
All right, all right. At this time, the chair entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Move it.
All right, been moved by Commissioner Wayhill, supported by Commissioner Winfrey. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Brown? Yes. Commissioner Avery?
Yes.
Commissioner Shoemaker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzno?
Yes.
Commissioner Wayhill?
Yes.
Commissioner Flewelling?
Yes.
Commissioner Lloyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Winfrey?
Yes.
Commissioner Getzinger?
All right, motion passes. At this time, we'll enter executive session. Turning back on. At this time, we're back into active session. Motion adjourned is in order.
So move.
This motion, has been, this meeting is adjourned.